Just maybe try to.
Okay. All right, Mr. Anderson, we'll call the June meeting to order at 6 p.m. Announcement of Opens Meetings Act. Fine print is the new and updated. We don't have the new one yet, so if you want to read it, it's up there. Roll call, please.
Mr. Benish.
Here.
Mr. Ernest.
Here.
Mrs. Ernest.
Here.
Mr. Shoemaker.
Here.
Mr. Wiedemann.
Here.
Mr. McLaughlin.
Here.
And Mr. Jones is gone.
Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, is there any communications?
No.
Nope, okay. Move on to 1.4, approval of agenda. So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Ernest.
Yes.
Mrs. Ernest.
Yes.
Mr. Shoemaker.
Yes.
Mr. Wiedemann.
Yes.
Mr. Benish.
Yes.
Okay. Hearings and persons to address the board, and we are going to move up 5.5, take action regarding application to graduate early for Mercedes Heidman. Have the floor. Thank you.
Hello, hello. So yes, I'm here today to seek approval for early graduation. I did have some printouts. Mr. McLaughlin said that he gave those out. So awesome. So I guess I'll just kind of give a little bit about what I want to do. So for the last 8 months, I've been really, I guess, passionate about getting into the military. So I had, I've gone to MEPS, I've done the applications for the Air Force, but unfortunately I have some medical conditions that keep me from going to the Air Force. But the Navy, they want me, and I want them. So, so the hopes and the dreams is that I'm graduated, or well, done with school in December, and basic training in January 25. So that is, really, the goal. Leyton, it's been great. I love it here. I mean, I was just here a few months ago talking about state FFA. I've had a lot of great experiences. I love it here, but I'm just not sure what I can say much more school can give me, some more grades, I'm ready for the real world, those experiences. So I really hope you take all that into consideration. If there's any questions, if there's any other resources you need from me,
I think all the information that you gave us was
It was fantastic.
astounding. Yeah, it was great.
Awesome.
wonderful.
I mean, she's a brilliant kid with a strong future ahead of her, who wants to go into the military. I think
Yeah. Thank you for wanting to share.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
You'll be done in December then, right?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Can we just ask for a motion then, or do we need to
Let's
discuss?
we just wait for it down.
Just, I'll wait for it, okay.
Yeah, she just gave us a presentation, so that's very nice.
Awesome, yeah, that's fantastic.
Good luck.
Thank
Well,
you very much.
Thank you guys.
Okay, special presentations to the board, interviewing for a new board member. I believe we have 2.
Yeah, come on up, I have 2 seats for you guys. Interview. In front of you, you'll see the interview questions. We're gonna go through them just one by one. There's 35. In the strangest job interview fashion possible. You'll get to hear what the person behind you said and what the person, so that part will be interesting. We plan on making our official determination for the new board member in July. We had 3 members for the first board opening, and then you 2 for the second one. So we have 4 people to consider, and then we just gonna make it tonight. We didn't want to go through the 35 questions again. So we'll make up our mind this month and then make that determination in the July meeting. So with that said, we'll go ahead and just do a real quick introduction of who we are, and then we'll go from there. Matt McLaughlin, superintendent of the school.
Susie Ernest, 35, 36-year member of the community. This is my second time on the board.
Mitch Ernest, born and raised here, first time on the school board.
Sam Shoemaker, born and raised here, been here my whole life besides college.
Dave Wiedemann. I taught and coached here.
till I retired, and then I'm on the board now.
Shad Benish, born and raised here. I got 3 kids, or 2 kids in the school now, and one graduated, so been on the board for a couple of years now.
Janelle's over here, Allison's right there, Mr. Henderson's in the back. Mr. Henderson's in the back. It's great for him to be here because he's the leader of our LEA, so it's just nice for him to be here in these meetings as well. So with that said, how do we want to
Start
start?
with an introduction here a little bit, or?
Yeah.
I'd like an introduction.
How about you guys? Randy, you want to go ahead and start?
Sure. Randy Bunner, born and raised here, graduated from here in '94. Most of you I know, some of you I don't. I do have 3 kids that go to school here. Love Leyton to death, so much I pull all my kids from Sydney to come here. I currently live in Burley, back with my parents to take care of them. They're getting elderly and they need some assistance. So hope we can get on the board so I can further see this school do great things.
For sure. My name's Nikki Taziska. I'm not a long life, late night. I actually was born and raised in South Dakota and moved to Sydney 25 years ago for a job with Cabela's, and then about 3 years ago we moved to Burley. So just trying to have our youngest son is attending Leyton here at the high school. He'll be junior this coming year. But just like to have a voice in the community, have be a part of the community. So
Thank you.
thank you. And if I could just say, Sam, I knew you when you were like this big.
I feel bad because I don't remember. I feel so bad.
You're still in nightmares?
I guess, are you guys ready to go with questions?
Sure.
You want to start, Susie?
Sure. What motivates both of you to want to become a board member?
Go ahead.
So we'll just flip.
Yeah, we'll just, yeah.
Okay, sure, that's fine. So what motivates me to want to become a board member? So like I said, being a member of the community, having the opportunity to provide some additional insight, having, not necessarily been from the community for a long time, perhaps bringing some new ideas not that there's anything going wrong with the school board or the school system itself, but just to bring in new ideas and see what, ways that we could benefit not only the students, but also this faculty that ultimately enrich our children each day, so.
As for me, growing up in the school system in this district, school system did a lot for me when I was growing up. I had a speech impediment, which it helped me a lot with. I was no good at math, and a lot of teachers went out of their way to take me aside and help me. And I'd like to see that continue, that whole one-on-one setup, that the way the classes are orientated around here, and with 3 children coming up in it. I'd just like to make sure that kind of continues around here. I think getting on the board would really help make sure some of that continues on. It would be a great way to make sure the district and the school flourishes.
What attributes are essential for successful board members?
I think to be a successful board member, you need to make sure you have the ability to listen to both sides, make sure that you're willing to do the right thing, not only for the community, but also the district. Because what sounds good in reality, and on paper may not always be the right thing down the road, because some things can change numbers-wise. They don't don't always drive out in the end. It's a kind of a tricky situation on some things.
For sure. I would completely agree with all of that. I'd also think transparency and open communication are super important as well. I think a lot of times when it comes to, city county, school board, official type things, I think there's a lot of just instant stigma that, they're not being open and honest with the community. So I think that's super important to be sure to share that. And as far as like making the right decisions, sometimes the right decisions aren't the easiest. They're not going to make everybody happy either. So it's keeping, ultimately the kids are the ones that the school board is directly responsible for. So I think it's important that we keep their best interests at heart, as well as getting the voices and the opinions of the faculty that have to deal with it every day. So.
Thank you. What do you see as the board's roles and responsibilities?
So I'd go back to, I guess, being a representative for not only the faculty, the students, the community, the best interest of all of those. I see making the best use of tax dollars, the community's tax dollars. Making sure that, we're following, whatever the strategic plan may be. If there's a particular policy that's, questions are being raised. I think most recently was the discussion about the cell phone use, having the openness and transparency to the community, making sure to get their input on things and not just going behind their back and making a decision that you feel is best.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think making the hard decisions falls on you guys. You guys have a lot of weight to carry on your shoulders a lot of the time. The cell phone issue is definitely a hard thing, and the whole track issue you do right now. It's very difficult now. It's definitely takes very, very special people to do. You guys got to do day in and day out. You guys are working for me, so.
Thank you.
What is the best way to address differences of opinion between the board and also between the board and the superintendent?
Thanks, Dave. I'm just reading it. Sorry. Yeah. Let's see here. That's a kind of tough one to answer. I guess that one kind of falls back on the whole the openness between everything. I mean, being open and straightforward on everything, on the opinions that takes place in your meetings. I mean, luckily, during you guys' meetings, luckily, superintendent is involved with them, so he's privy to everything going on here. So, that's really a tough question to answer on this here. I just have to say, openness and truth is just the best policy on just discussing all that.
Well, I think being open and honest, like you say. But I also think that it's important to acknowledge that we're not always going to agree. Like, we're all human, we all have our own opinions, agree to disagree kind of thing. And having the respect for each other to know that we're not always going to have the same thoughts or opinions on things, and that's what, makes us us, right? We're not always going to agree. I think also that there's issues with the superintendent or another board member. I think that, I would say ultimately just respect for each other, just making sure that that's open and honest, and acknowledging that, we're all human, and just because we don't necessarily agree, we're keeping the best interest of, who are we trying to, whose best interest do we have in mind? Is it for ourselves, or is it for the kids, the faculty, that kind of thing? So that's the biggest thing, I guess.
Thank you.
Number 5 seems the same as number 2, but
We can, if we get to doubles, we can skip.
can we skip 5?
If you don't want to do
Exactly
it,
the
there's a
same
couple
as
in here that are going to be.
Yeah.
we can-
Number 6, what role does policy play or have in the function of the board?
Well, I think policies is super important. I work from home for the state of Nebraska. I'm program coordinator for the Nebraska Homeless Assistance Program, and I deal with policy and regulations every single day. Sometimes they're nice and sometimes they're not so nice. It's just part of the law and order of things, if you have the policies, just keep you in check kind of thing, so.
Yeah, policies are written for a reason. I mean, apparently, I see policies as the same thing as those little stickers that you find as warnings on everything. Apparently somebody did something at one time and they did it for a reason. They're there for a reason, according to keep everybody, like she said, in check and make sure everybody plays by the rules. So policies are a good thing. If something comes up somewhere, I'm sure more policies will be made. Make sure more mistakes are made for something that comes up. So they play a good function.
Thank you.
Right. Do you have sufficient time and energy to devote to this position?
I currently do have plenty of time and energy for this position. I currently am basically stay-at-home dad, and I do have a part-time job. I work on Tuesdays and Thursdays, so as far as meetings and anything that needs to be done, it's not an issue for me to make any time in my schedule for whatever needs to be done.
I do travel a lot for work, but my travel is often more peaks and valleys, especially with like the legislative time, and now that it was ending. Whew, but yes, I definitely have the time and energy to address there, to be part of the board.
Thank you.
Number 8, will you support a board decision you do not vote in favor of? Why or why not?
I would say I guess it would have to go like based upon my morals, like, and my own personal integrity. And then ultimately, what's the final, who's the end product here? Like, who's it going to affect? If it's something that I opinion-wise would object to, absolutely, I would support it. I respect everyone's decision, everyone's opinion. However, I think if there was something that totally went against my own personal integrity, that would make me question myself, that I would have a problem.
I would have to say I would probably go the same way. If it was something that, like she said, would make me question myself, I would definitely have a problem voting no on it. Whereas if it was something, you know, that would benefit in the long run, it probably would not be hard, you know, for me to be swayed in the other way. Although I know majority rules. So I know one vote of a no wouldn't be a big, huge, you know, problem with our vote. So at least I know if I voted no on it, I know I would still be more of myself safe.
Thank you. How would you handle a request or concern if approached by an individual or special interest group?
I would listen to what they had to say. Definitely give them the time that they asked for. I'd take all their information that they needed, but then I would bring everything to the board and present it to them. And in the end, it is definitely up to the board on what they said. It is definitely not something that I myself would decide on. That is something for the board to vote on. That would just be basically a vessel to transfer their information on. And I would let them know in that case that I am just going to pass their information on. That's all I can do.
Yeah, I would agree to that. I'd also just follow up with, sometimes if you're approached by people on the street, that it's just, you know, knee-jerk reaction, they're just fighting off of emotion or what have you. So I would also recommend that they could put their home in writing, and then we could submit it to the board, and then if they would be so gracious to, you know, present it, their concern forward. Sometimes just having that opportunity to sit back and think first before, was I really that mad, or is that really that big of an issue, to, you know, bring it forward kind of thing, so.
Thank you.
Identify the qualities an effective board member will exhibit.
Well, I think definitely being the transparency, communication, respect for others, being, kind of goes up to one of those other ones too, where, you know, just being respectful of others, making sure that whomever or whatever the situation happens to be at the time, making sure that you understand and remember who, you know, who you're trying to support or benefit as in your position with the board.
I definitely believe making sure you have time to be at your meetings, be respectful, definitely be a good listener, be open to new ideas, just all in all be willing to work with the other board members on new ideas for change.
Thank you.
Skip a little.
Yeah.
What is your vision for education in this school district?
I think my vision for this school district is just to try and keep it pretty much the same like it is now. Like I said, when I was growing up here, I always thought it was nice, you know, the smaller classrooms were great and kind of the teachers were more of a one-on-one. I thought it was easier to learn that way. You weren't a number, you were actually named, your name was known by the teacher. They knew you better in the hallway. They called you by name. You weren't just, when you went into the lunchroom, you know, like the lunch ladies knew who you were. You weren't just a lunch account number, you know, and I'd like to see that keep happening. I don't know if that can stay that way. I know, I hate to say it, but city schools are kind of self-destructing, and I know there's going to be kind of like influx of children that are going to, parents that are going to try to have their kids try to opt in. And I know, I'm not sure school-wise, how many children the school can handle, or you guys would be willing to have come in. I know classroom sizes aren't that big, so, but I'd like to see it stay the way it is. I think it's better for the children learning-wise, and I just hope, but I would like to see the district stay competitive-wise on top of everything, as far as it goes for like computers, lab-wise, staying on top of that, and books and everything, just staying competitive so they can continue to get all the funding that they need to keep the children where they need to be, so that, actually, I know it sounds cliche, but so no kids are left behind, because I mean, education is what every kid needs to succeed in life, because everything's changing. And it's hard to stay up with everything. Everything's going to computers, and it's really tough out there these days.
Yeah, our oldest two graduated from Sydney, so we did that whole K through senior year. I loved Sydney schools. I thought it was great for them. However, after having the opportunity for our youngest to be part of Leyton, I absolutely love this school. I love the fact that the teachers, again, make first name basis. I can call them, I can say, do you need a pig?
Still no.
You know, or just like, Ben's having a bad day, just kind of a heads up type thing, or what kind of homework are we needing to focus on? But with that, I think that it's super important that even though we are a very rural community in a rural school setting, it's important that our students have the technology and the up-to-date teaching methods to make sure that they are successful out there in the big cities or wherever colleges or whatever the next step is for them. I think it's important that the one-on-one teaching, like you said, I think is super important. Having the technology with the computers and such, but also that up-to-date methodology with the teaching that that you guys get exposed to on a regular basis. Things change all the time, and making sure that that's up front on the benefit of the students. And then making sure that the teachers, the staff have the education and training to facilitate and put those methodologies forward.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're at 13, right? Do you understand the role of the superintendent, and describe the superintendent's role?
I have my perception of the role. Is it a role that I want? No, absolutely not. I'd say that as far as the role, they are responsible for the school district, for the staff, for the students, for the community. I think that it's a very, it's a heavy role and not one that I would envy. I admire, but I would not want it. Let's put it that way.
It's a terrible job. I'm just joking.
I have to agree, it's a job I wouldn't want, I think it'd be very stressful. As far as I know, he's in control of, both schools, everything basically underneath him is under his belt. He's a control everything that handles in both schools simultaneously. And then he gets a lot of help from Mr. Jones as far as making sure the buildings are functioning properly, everything is working properly. All the teachers are accounted for, making sure if they're not, there's substitutes called and taken care of for all the kids to be taught properly for the day. All of that, as far as I know, bus drivers, everything, every day. So, yeah.
It's one of those president pictures, like when you first took position, and you look like 20 years younger compared to now.
Just way heavier. Way heavier.
Thank you, guys.
Do you board members have a role in the day-to-day operation of the district?
That one, I'm not sure. I might think that they do. I'd like to think, I'm not positive on it. I like to think that they do. I know the decisions that they make control the day-to-day operations. As far as each board member having things that go on day-to-day, I'm not positive on if they do, but I know that that's decisions. We do have things that happen day-to-day in there, so on that one, yeah, I cannot possibly answer that for you.
I would say definitely have a day-to-day, a role in the day-to-day operation between the policies and procedures that, you know, that comes down from legislation, things that, you know, the school handbook, you know, the rules, the regulations that the students and the faculty are supposed to abide by, absolutely. The school board has a day-to-day role in that, or a role in that day-to-day operation, sorry.
Thank you. I'm gonna skip 15.
That's like
That
a
was
redundancy.
a common.
What do you see as the primary work of the board?
I would say that the primary work of the board is definitely to be that voice and advocacy for the students and the faculty for the school system. Voice for the community, making sure that our children are safe and well educated, so when they go out to the real world, having the support of our teachers that for what they do on day in and day out. You know, quite humbled by all that they endure on a daily basis. I can have a bad day and my bad day goes away, but the teachers, you know, they can have a bad day and then it can be repeated day after day. So I would say that the primary work of the board is to be that advocate for the students and the staff and the community as far as promoting education in school, education in the school system.
Yeah, if you guys would be the ones to make all the decisions, make sure that the functions of the school, or not only the school, but this part of your district are handled according to all of your policies and procedures that have been written, are followed properly. And if they're not, then I'm sure you guys write another policy to make sure that they are taken care of. Also, we check that with Mr. Superintendent over here on the phone and make sure everything is taken care of. On a daily basis, just to make sure everything is, all bases are covered. If it's not, then we bring it up at your next meeting and get it covered.
Good. Thank you. Yes, sir.
What kind of relationship should the district or the board have with the community, with parents, and with family?
I believe that the relationship between the board and the community, well, the community, parents and families, needs to be an open and friendly relationship, because, I mean, the input that you're going to get everyone is basically where you guys are gonna get, you know, all your decision-making ideas and, I mean, the input that you guys receive from everybody. That's the only way you guys are gonna know if you guys are doing your job correctly or not. It's kind of hard to, you know, sit in a secluded room and just put out yes and no's and not know what's going on the other side of everything. I mean, you have to understand what's coming from the decisions you're making, how it's affecting everybody else. Because, I mean, if it's not affecting them in the proper way, you guys need to adjust depending on what you guys' limitations are on the other side. If you can adjust to help better the community itself, as far as the school, if the school let you, change it a little bit. So you need to be open with the community as well and listen to their input to help you guys better do your job. So I think you guys need to be open with the community and truthful with the community and just listen to what they have to say.
I would say it depends. There's two hats that have to be worn. You have your school board hat, and then you have your friend neighbor hat. And so if it's a school board or district-related issue, that's a school board hat. And so that is dealt differently than if it was just someone, sitting out having a couple beers, drinking or whatever, and having just shooting the breeze kind of thing. That I think you have to make sure that how you deal with your neighbors on a friendly basis is different than how you are representing the board and wearing your school board hat. Professional, respectful, like I said before, that knee-jerk reaction, having a heated discussion or a heated opinion at that moment. I appreciate your opinion, I appreciate your perspective. Why don't you put it down on a piece of paper, send it in to the board, and we can discuss it officially. And then, take that hat off and go back to being friends.
Thank you.
Okay. How can a board know if the district goals are being accomplished and policies carried out?
Well, I would say that as far as like the teaching methodology, that the students have their regular, quarterly or maybe biannual testing that they do, not ACTs, I cannot think of what the name is, but as far as that goes, lets the district know, the school board know if our students are performing. Maybe there was a new math methodology that was brought out. Are our students performing to that national average? Are they above? Are they below? And how do things need to be adjusted? Perhaps they're, a needs assessment for the community. How do they feel that the district's doing? Are they, does the community feel there needs to be more safety issues addressed? Or is there not enough transparency even from the school board to the community, that kind of thing. I think it's important to have that transparency, but I think it's, there's measurements and metrics out there that help us determine whether or not we're meeting those goals, if those goals need to be modified, addressed, changed. But I think definitely having the input from the community also gives that perspective as to whether or not we're being successful.
I think, one of the leading ways to see if the policies, the goals and policies are being carried out is test scores are a great way to tell if they're being carried out, because then you can see if your teachers are teaching properly and following the policies. But yeah, I think if you were to send out some kind of a community questionnaire to either the newsletter or even to the website, the Leyton website, get the feedback from that. That'd be a great way to assess whether or not your goals or your policies are being carried out through there.
Thank you.
All right, who should set the rules governing board procedures, methods, and behavior? Who should enforce them?
That, I do believe, should be set by the state of Nebraska school boards. I'm just taking a guess at it because I'm believing that's who I would have
Within the school
So-
district.
within the school district.
Within the school
So it
district,
would
who
be-
would-
I did not think of it
Yeah,
that
that would
way.
be
I did not think it up.
We're not trying to quiz you guys.
Yeah,
It's
you
just-
know,
It's a trick question.
And
Yeah.
whoever is voted on to be brought on will have lots of
A
training.
lot of
Yeah,
training.
I have a lot of
You'll learn a
training.
lot.
Because,
It's a
learn
good
a lot
one.
of different stuff. Yeah, honestly, I'm not sure on that one.
That's okay.
Yeah, that's,
That is a good one.
Well, there are rules and legislation, rules, regulations, statutes that say, the districts are supposed to operate a certain way. But ultimately, I think that the governing board procedures are ultimately something that, as a board, that we would collectively review, decide upon. If there's, much like our own legislation, they have their own rules. They have rules and guidelines they're supposed to operate, but then they make their own rules within their own session on how those things are, how they are gonna operate certain, yeah, I just lost my thought, but ultimately I would say that to abide by those rules and regulations, the statutes that the state provides, and then collectively as a whole, that the board should be responsible for themselves, making sure that keep each other in check.
Thank you.
With one or two meetings a month, all school boards are limited in what they can do. How does or should the board decide what is most important?
A strategic plan is often a good thing, whether it's an annual or 2-year, 5-year type plan. And then each year, that strategic plan gets looked at. Okay, did we meet those goals? Is this a goal that can be attained within this next school year kind of thing? Based upon what that strategic goal looks like, though, I think that's what feeds up the priority chain. If it's something that's of low priority, probably don't spend a lot of time on, but if there's input, definitely share it. But making sure that the primary focus, addressing the needs and the education of our students and the support of our faculty, definitely making sure that those are up on the top of the list and addressing those at the forefront.
I live, trying to take care of the most important things would probably be one of the hardest things you guys gotta take care of, obviously. I'm sure none of your none of the things you guys, well, some of the things you guys have are kind of planned out, but some of your guys' things just spring up on you. Trying to decide how important it is kind of something you guys have to, of course, vote on, like your whole track situation, sprung up on you. I think, like you said, you guys have your whole plan on everything that comes down the line that you have to look at of importance throughout their annual year there to see exactly what is plays its role of importance throughout the line. But when things spring up on you guys probably do a vote on how important it is and how what the emergency state of it is to be taken care of and how much it's going to cost to take care of it and everything. That all plays a role in how quickly it needs to be taken care of. Dealt with. And soon you can find somebody to take care of it. So I think that all plays a role into trying to get that to fit into your 1 or 2 meetings. Trying to get it all running and taken care of. So honestly, I think it'd be pretty hard to get taken care of as quick as you can.
Thank you. Oh, I thought you did start. That's all right. I'll probably skip 21. How can you contribute to a successful board meeting?
Just be attentive, listen, contribute to the conversation. Really, I think just have your opinion in where it's needed and bring up any key ideas that you have.
I agree to all of that, as well as being up to date on certain, issues that come up either across the state, across the panhandle, across the nation even. Staying on task, making sure that, we're not talking about pigs in a constructive meeting type thing. Staying on task, making sure that you're addressing the things that need to be handled. Again, like I said before, 1 to 2 meetings a month, you got to make sure that you're staying cognizant of everything, making the best use of everyone's time, for sure.
Thank you. That's where we are. Yeah.
What responsibilities do board members have regarding advocacy? Or how are you going to advocate for our school district?
Well, I think it's important that as a school board that we provide that voice for our community. When we receive input from the community, receive input from the teachers of particular concerns, I think it's important that we, as a school board, collectively, we collectively need to be supportive of our students and of our staff, taking it to the appropriate leadership, Mr. McLaughlin or whomever. I think it's important that we set perhaps our own opinions aside and make sure that we're focusing on who it is that we're supposed to be representing, being that voice for for those that we're representing, I guess.
For myself, I do believe, Leyton has always been my school, so, I mean, I've never had anything bad to say about this school, so, oh, anybody ever, comes to me, anything to say about this school, obviously, I would do like I always do, I've always done, and, give them my opinion about this school in a positive way, because I always have. And if they ever needed any more information whatsoever, I would obviously point them in the right direction, which would be Mr. Laughlin or Mr. Jones, or actually any one of the faculty members that I have had a chance to talk to lately because of my students. They're all very well informed about everything going on in any one of the buildings. So, I honestly, I could direct them to any one of the faculty members, and they would have nothing but any positive information that they wanted to give them. So, advocating for the school, as far as board member wise, would be very something again for Leyton. So,
Okay, thank you.
I'm gonna go to 25.
Oh,
Pay attention down there.
Why are school boards necessary?
Basically, I mean, school board, for me, I mean, to make it basically simple, I mean, I see a school board as basically the brain of the whole, whole operation of school itself. I mean, you guys are the ones that send out the information to the rest of everybody. You guys give basically the commands of everything that needs to be done for the whole rest of the school. You guys set everything in motion, as far as your policies go, send it down the line, whether it's, going to Mr. McLaughlin for everything else, to be handed down, and he sends it down, probably down the way. You guys make the votes on the decisions that affect everybody else, the hard decisions. Like I said, you guys are the brains of the whole operation. Tough decisions have to relapse, and you guys got to take the heat for them, or whatever happens. School boards, you guys are very necessary to handle the in and the out operations and everything that happen.
I'd say the school boards are necessary because they operate as the bridge between the community and the education system themselves. I think the school boards are necessary because the average person in our community perhaps isn't privy to the information that the school board would have in relation to certain policies and procedures that are, ultimately could be affecting their students. I think it's important that the school boards are not like said so many times before, not only that advocate, that voice for the community and the students and the faculty, but as that bridge between the education and the community, or education system and the community. The school boards are charged with putting those policies into place, making sure that cell phone policy and what have you. Those are things that are coming down from above through legislation or what have you, but how do we make sure that our students and parents feel that they have a voice in that decision? Not just being told this is what's going to happen, but making sure that they know that they have a voice and an opinion into how that's supposed to be facilitated.
Thank you. Okay, 26, can we skip 26?
Yeah.
Is that another report? How many times have I asked the same questions?
Just in a different tone.
Right, just different words, yeah. Okay, so on 27, what are the current challenges facing education in school boards?
Oh, definitely funding. I think funding is a huge thing across the board. I would say also support, training and methodology changes, policies, the current state of the world in general. Funding for sure, though, I think that there's just not enough, taxes, how, that dirty three-letter word, but I think that that's something that, the proverbial money tree, if only we could find one, right? That's what I would say.
And I agree, I think funding is the biggest problem. The biggest challenge facing education in schools right now. It's just, all the changes going on in the government right now, it's just ridiculous how much they're putting funding on the schools. And as fast as everything's evolving in education, it seems like every time you guys get caught up with something, and now they change to something else, and now you gotta turn around and try to find something else to catch up to be back to where you're supposed to be. And it seems like it never ends. It just keeps going round and round. So, well, if there was never any funding, let's face it, we're just not in that world anymore. So,
Thank you. I'm gonna skip 28 and 29. 30 September. What school district and community activities or organizations have you been involved in?
now, are we talking recently or are we talking lifetime?
As much as you want, yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say, because recently I haven't really, well, I'm not gonna say done much, because I did have some that I did with my oldest child, who's going to be senior next year. And he was a freshman. I was involved with his football, some of his football stuff, helping with some of his football career a little bit, and then definitely helped with a lot of their making sure they have enough Gatorade and helping them get their numbers and stuff on the lockers, which was pretty hectic, a lot of fun. As far as that goes, I would have to go clear back to when I was in high school. I was involved with student council for 3 years. I was student council president when I was a junior. Other than that, that's pretty much most stuff that I did as far as
Locally, I am part of the Girly Lions Club. I currently hold a vice president position there. Perhaps you've seen my influx of email or Facebook posts about our plastic recycling. That's me. Through my role with the Department of Health and Human Services, I'm active in various community, not local to say community involvement, but with the Domestic Violence Coalition, the homeless assistance, the Nebraska Commission on Housing and Homelessness, just a various number of boards that, I'm just a seat filler per se. I don't hold an actual position, but I'm involved in those different coalitions and boards. Much like yourself, when my kids were younger, when it was still cool, I would help out with like the room mother and stuff like that, providing Gatorade for football games and stuff like that. Then when your kids get older, you're not cool anymore and they don't want you to do that. So, as far as other activities, been member of the Sydney JCs, teammates program there in Sydney. I had 2 mentees. Absolutely love that program. I would be willing to see if that's something we could facilitate here as well. But, yeah, I've always been active in our community, wanted to have involvement, show that, I'm not just there for the free hamburger, that I'm, want to be, recycling to get us a new bench, or, on a school board to promote, the education and well-being of our students. What's the word? A public servant, or servant leader. That's what it is.
Thank you. What differentiates you from the other candidates?
Yeah, I'm not sure, other than I'm a woman and you're a man.
And you weren't here for the other two, so
I was gonna say.
what makes you special?
What makes me special? Helping others has always been just a big passion of mine. Knowing that I'm a part of something bigger than myself, ultimately is important. I think that a lot of times that the hard decisions, the not easy decisions are the best judger of character. You find out who's really in it for themselves over others. I'm a huge supporter of community, huge supporter of collaboration, and I don't ever want someone to say they can't do their job because of me. I want to make sure that I'm as transparent as possible. If you have a question, if there's, I want to be as representative as possible without projecting any kind of opinion before. It can be. I don't want an opinion that I have to be representative of the board without the board having a say. If that's what I want to say.
Thank you. Well, that's good.
I don't know, it's tough to say. Let's see, like I said, born and raised here, 49 years old. Let's see, I'm married twice. Let's see, I've got 7 kids, and they all have ADHD, so that's hard to deal with. I don't know, I'm pretty much just, I don't know, I've always supported it. Leyton's always been good to me, it's been good to my family. And all my siblings are here, nieces and nephews are here, my kids go here. It's just, all my friends are here.
It's home.
Graduated with Chad's brother, Dave taught me. I don't know if that's good or bad. Hey, I learned a lot from you, man. But no, I mean, and like I said, you're a woman.
Thank you.
So, yeah.
Most fun question.
This is the last question.
All right.
What questions do you have for the board?
Let's see. It's your chance to do it.
I do have a couple questions, actually. So typically, I know that the board is an elected position. And so with this vacant role, what's the duration of or term of that position?
You know, that's a
3
good
years.
question. I think it's,
Well,
Yeah,
We're all
because
just
Ryan
not
just
on.
got
Oh,
reelected.
Ryan.
But this is Ryan's.
yeah,
This is, oh, so he
He
has,
has not quite 2 years.
It'd be 2 years.
You'd be
with me
up.
and Chad.
Up for re-election in 26.
With
and then you would
Sam.
file if it was something you wanted to do.
Yeah.
So, because there's 3 of us that just got reelected and then 3 that are halfway through.
Usually just 1 meeting a month.
Usually.
Usually.
Sometimes more.
Anything else you guys got?
Well, why, just go down the row here, why did you want to be on the board? What is it that makes you want to? The board's such an important part to you.
So I was on the board from 2001 to 2009, and they didn't do the interview process, but I filled someone's seat, and then ran again. And then when I started at the radio station, I didn't want to redo, I didn't want to be in this life and on the radio, too many weird things.
Didn't want to take the hat off.
Yeah. Crazy questions on so much. And then when I refiled was after we sold the radio station, and I wanted to. There were some things that I felt that we were kind of falling about after my kids graduated. My last one graduated in 18, and there were things I didn't like what I saw, and so I ran. So, and I am not sorry for running again. I appreciate the fact that they put me back on the island and the recall, and it's where my kids all graduated. My husband graduated here. It's awesome.
Well, I didn't run, I got appointed.
When I got married, his mother was pregnant with him. We're just cousins.
I was K through 12 here, so my time here was pretty good. We had a really good school. I felt like. And I don't have any kids that go to school. I don't have any kids that don't obviously go to school here. But I would share an unbiased opinion and stuff like that. I'm not swayed either way. I want what's best for this district, so that's why I decided to be voting.
Thank you.
I guess I'm like Mr. Bunner, Dalton and Gurley's family to me. Everybody in the community is a family. Go through school, and then I started in special education, and then I decided I like farming better. Then when I came home, I was like, Susie, there's some things changed since I graduated, and I thought, hey, here's a great place to put my foot in. I have 2 daughters now, and I can't wait for them to go to school.
Well, we appointed you.
I was appointed the first
Yep,
time,
you were
and then I
appointed.
like,
Then he was in
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I taught here for 25 years, and then I helped coach another 10 years after that. And, you know, it's like home to me. My kids went to school here. And it was, you know, you always want to serve your community. I thought that'd be a way I could serve. like Susie said, we were in some turmoil when we ran for election. And it was hard, but we made it through it, and I think we're doing great. I can't wait for the future, because I think we're on the right track.
I did it just because I care about Leyton, care about the community. Wanted my kids to go here, I want the doors to be open for my kids, so. And I want the doors to be open for Sam's kids, and all the little kids that are coming, so. I think we can if we don't mess it up too bad, so. I just want to be a part of that, be a positive influence, I guess, so.
So on the flip side of that, now what's difficult? What's the one piece or two that make being on the school board the most difficult for you?
I'd say the budget.
Yep.
Finances, budget, which you guys.
All
track.
right, unanimous nods.
The levy.
Yes.
I mean, nobody's gonna be happy.
Oh,
No
yeah,
matter
for
what
sure.
it is, somebody's gonna be just, you get on inspection.
Yeah.
And until the legislature decides, you know, if they're gonna fund things or if they're not, you know, we get sent a lot of unfunded mandates and those are really fun. So,
This is what's not fun. The state, as you were saying, just ended, right?
Yeah.
Here's their policies, it's automatic, must have, and then here's an update, so you gotta go fun read. They change the same policies every year, it seems like, or little things in the policies, so it's a matter of
Sometimes it's just one word.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's-
And the
absolutely.
lawyers send us that and tell us what's required, what's not required, highly recommended, or, you know, you can put your own little scoop on it. It's interesting.
Yeah, understood.
And it is like the warning on the hairdryer. Who took a bath with the hairdryer?
Somebody did
Somebody
somewhere.
did. Somebody did.
Somebody did.
Now we all have to do it.
Great.
Anything else we can do for you guys, or?
Oh, Lisa, the one question I had was, how many times a month you met? You answered that, right? That's-
Should be one unless we have a special meeting, which we give notice to anyways, 5 days a week, is it, 2 papers? So
Yeah.
you get a plenty of heads up if you have to have a special meeting.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for the opportunity. I really
Yes.
Thank
appreciate
you for
it.
applying.
you.
We appreciate that.
I was gonna apply the first time they came out, and I was like, I was just doing too much traveling with the legislation, and so.
I have to ask you, who's your husband?
Rich Tazinska.
He went to
Dennis-
Lodgepole.
Dennis and Phyllis in
Yes.
Sydney are his parents.
Okay. When I taught in Lodgepole, he was a student in
Yeah.
Lodgepole.
Yep.
Yep. I wondered this whole time, I'm thinking, I don't know. Never knew where he went, so,
Yeah.
because I was only there for 4 years, so.
Yep, that's him.
Well, you guys can stay and watch this fun meeting we're gonna have, or if you have things to do, you're more welcome.
Well, again, thank you so very much.
You're
Appreciate
very
it.
welcome.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate the time.
Oh, absolutely.
Questionnaires.
See ya. You don't want to take that home and study?
I probably could, you know, thanks for skipping some of the redundant.
Come back with the
ones.
answers, and we'll talk later.
Thank you.
So just on a side note, so when it comes to policy changes like that, and like you said, it's one word changes, I mean, I get faced with that all the time too. Do you work with a lawyer then that,
We'll be going through all of them.
Yeah, they, one of those things is what they sent us, telling us this policy is required change, this policy, you can, you know, and they're all redlined, Janella goes through and.
We'd be lost without Janella. She's-
Yeah, it's crazy, so.
awesome. Again, thanks guys.
Yep,
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much. Back to the regular meeting. Reports.
Mr. Jones' report is there for your guys' viewing. If you want to take anything out of that one for special regulations, be happy to do that.
Can I add some things to that?
Absolutely.
Maybe you guys remember that too, but in addition to that, I wrote down Panhandle Prep All-Star Basketball, Zaylee, Shawnee, Sydney, and Coach Jed Benish. And the MAC versus MMAC All-Star Basketball was Zaylee, Shawnee, Sydney, and Cadence. And Jed coached the girls, and James coached the boys. And I put down West Nebraska All-Star Volleyball, which was Saturday, and that was Shawnee, Cadence, and Coach Natasha Pop. And then I saw the NCPA Academic All-State Awards. Music was Ella and Macy. Voice track was Riley and Alec. And girls track was Zaylee and Shawnee.
Excellent.
Is that updated?
I think that's perfect. So we can pull the names from Mr. Jones' report, please.
That's, when's the last time we had that many kids in All-Star games?
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, it's
And a girls.
a really great thing for the kids. So,
Coaches.
yeah, and our coaches. It was really an honor to have us represented like they were. Some good articles in the Star Herald as well from Jed on a good career coaching basketball. So it's kind of neat to see. As for my report then, under vision, culture, and instructional leadership, preschool is going to have comparable numbers to what we had last year, around 17. We're hoping for just to get that to about that spot. So I think that would be a good spot for at 17, 18. It's a pretty full room. FFA and ag classes are still being worked out. Hoping to have a clear picture of that in the next month. Most likely, we're going to be using a digital approach. I'm scheduled to meet with NASB to get working on our strategic plan. I just want it to be more noticeable throughout the year and throughout the district. Last year we worked on communication and teacher effectiveness. I just need that board to keep this document alive and breathing, and we'll work on this to get the best out of this that we possibly can. You heard those two prospective board members talk about the strategic plan, and I thought that was kind of a great thing for them to say, your strategic plan should be guiding you. I just want it to be more noticeable. Next year, we're going to be getting to the end of our accreditation cycle, so we need to be thinking about our external visit. That's going to require a lot of work, so we plan on developing an action plan with Cognia, as well as Amy from ESU 13. Charles will be on a visit this year at a local school, and then I might be doing Gordon Rushville's visit, so there's going to be some things going on with us being in buildings and checking out how they're doing it. I think I was involved in Mitchell's last year, so kind of just getting our school organized for that visit. Under operations, resource, and personnel management, field fixing is the name of the game this summer. So I think that kind of the motto is green and clean. We just want to be super green out there. We're working full bore on the outsides of our building this summer, including repairs to our football fields. We're top dressing the high school field. We got a new aerator for all of our facilities, and we're getting with with Mr. Hobb and trying to work on a Gurley field fix so that we're ready for junior high football at Gurley next year. We're proud of our facilities, and we just think we can get them looking amazing over the summer. The line item budget's almost complete. Budget committee will work on that this summer. Some changes from the legislature will be discussed during the July meeting when all the dust settles. And policies next month will kind of hit back up on our rotation. Policies this month, handbooks next month, and we'll have a huge opportunity this next year to show what Leyton's all about. It's going to be a good school year for us. I just want to say we had great community support at the last special meeting. I know a lot of people were thinking about being, I don't know what I'm talking about there. It must have been a wrong sentence, but I thought we had some great community support last week. I wish we could have had a whole room full of people telling us what to do, but I think we had a group of concerned citizens that pointed us in a direction that we felt comfortable taking. And at the end of it, it looks like we might save some money on the special witness or whatever it is. So that's my report for this one.
Thank you, Matt. On to the regular agenda, excusing a board member. Think anybody needs excused? Special recognition. Everybody listed in the principal's report and Janelle's report.
So we need a motion. I'll make a motion,
Oh,
go ahead. I'll make a motion, we approve everybody in Mr. Jones's report and those that Janelle added as well for special recognition.
I'll second that. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Ernest?
Yes.
Mr. Shoemaker?
Yes.
Mr. Wiedemann?
Yes.
Mr. Denish?
Yes.
Mr. Ernest?
Yes.
Review, consider, and take action regarding the minutes from the regular board meeting of May 12th, 2025, and the special meeting on June 2nd, 2025.
I want to thank Janella and Matt because that's all. Something we all catch things that one of us missed, or so it's It's a process.
It's
Not horribly
probably
hard,
because
but
I
it's
suck
not-
at writing documents.
Or Mr. Jones is not all right too, if you were, I mean. Is there a motion to approve those?
I'll move.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Shoemaker?
Yes.
Mr. Wiedemann?
Yes.
Mr. Benish?
Yes.
Mr. Ernest?
Yes.
Mrs. Ernest?
Yes.
Roll, oh yeah. Review, consider, take action regarding claims, warrants, and transfers.
In addition to what was on the packet from Friday, I gave a handout. I had some last minute bills.
Megan,
come in.
Mr. Henderson, if you guys wanted to see it, I wouldn't be in there, but there was extra.
Yeah.
bills. See that?
So I think our total is 101,000.
You signed all that?
Most of it.
They did finish the fire alarms, but I do not have that bill yet.
So
What?
So,
What's the Kansas City Audio Visual?
that's what we approved,
That's
50,000 of
the
that
TVs.
was
Oh,
Smart
that's,
boards.
okay, gotcha.
We went over that last month.
Okay.
And we-
I just didn't know that was the name of the company. I
So
forgot.
there's 3 different technology purchases, I believe.
Right.
yeah, the
Okay.
laptops
It
and
was
the
50.
boards.
I figured those
Seven.
two out, I didn't know.
And the
I figured
Chromebooks.
that
That's
out.
what we're at,
Okay.
right there. But we will get, if I understand this right, we'll get 15,000 back from REAP. Is that about
Yes.
right?
About
Yeah.
that, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'm packaging up
We have to
the,
spend it first to get it back. So.
Yes.
That just makes so much
And
sense.
then 9,000 out of the technology fund.
Yes. We did that on the laptops. So you're not even
It's not
saved that
57, it's
total.
33.
Yeah.
Okay.
Other than that, it was, it wasn't,
No.
I mean, that's a big chunk, so.
That was just the only one that I didn't recognize.
Is there a
So
motion?
I would make a motion to approve the claims, warrants, and transfers as presented, plus the extra sheet.
Is there a second? Roll call, please.
Mr. Wiedemann?
Yes.
Mr. Benish?
Yes.
Mr. Ernest?
Yes.
Mrs. Ernest?
Yes.
Mr. Shoemaker?
Yes. Review, consider, and take action regarding application to graduate early for Mercedes Hyper.
And Mercedes is 4th in her class, great student, great grades. She's going to be able to do some great things. I would recommend that you guys approve her application for early graduation.
I would make that one.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Benish?
Yes.
Mr. Ernest?
Yes.
Mrs. Ernest?
Yes.
Mr. Shoemaker?
Yes.
Mr. Wiedemann?
Yes.
I think that's probably one of the coolest things we've voted on since forever.
Yes, I agree.
Review, consider, take action regarding the placement of playground bids.
3 bids, kind of major money, but something that we need to replace our wooden structure. Megan, you were at the school the last week of school, our bridge broke on the wooden stuff. It's only gonna get worse. So I'm just suggesting the board take action on getting a replacement playground. I think we have 3 quality bids. And then the motion on this, Janelle, we want to go with special building fund on this.
That's what you want, just so it's
Yeah.
in the motion.
So if you approve this, it will be a special building fund purchase, which we're sitting, just without looking at the items on the special building fund amount, I think we're sitting at like 450,000 in that account.
On that creative sites bid,
Yeah.
so there's, I
Sorry, we're
mean, there's
looking at
5.
the top one,
Just, that was my, so only the top one.
only the top one.
So is that the one you had before?
Wing swings.
Oh, sorry, on the
Creative
creative
sites.
sites, it's the 3rd bid, and it's the, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
so that's it.
It's easier to see here than it was in the packet, because I got confused with the packet too.
Yeah, sorry, so that's the top bid, chose the one that we thought would be and it's a great set, but it's, it's the cheapest of their sets for creative sites. We work with creative sites on preschool materials. The one that came in most recently was the King Swings. And that's the first one. Kind of see the equipment there. It's very comparable to what we've had before. But yeah, I just think that it's time to move on playground.
Can this wait a month till we know what we're spending on our track? Because if we have to drop 200,000 there-ish,
It just pushes us back and install, that's it.
What, I mean, okay, so one's 37,000, one's 126.
Then there's another one that's like 190. Gee.
No kidding.
Oh, no, that's right, it's 142.
And which bid are you suggesting there?
I would suggest the King Swings, $40,000 mark. It's a great set. They put them together in, I think they're in Pennsylvania or something like that. And they ship them out and set them up for us, and
they come out and install it.
you have to come out and install. She said it's a day process.
And is it a,
They sell them all over the world.
Is it a
It's a day
composite wood?
process.
Yep.
So it just takes a day?
Yeah.
I'm kind of with Sam, I'd like to know where we're at on the track.
Sure.
I mean, are you saying they can't even get it here if we don't do it now?
Yeah, it's just kind of just wait your spot in line.
What's the lead time they tell you?
For King Swings, there's opportunities in August, and all the other ones could get done this summer.
I find the price on the King Swings that we could probably that with the impending track. We have that amount in the account. It's not
My only,
horrendous.
my only concern is not even the 200, say, our lawyer and the expert witness tells us to get out, and now we have to throw $500,000 at the track. 40,000, 37,000 is pretty minimal, and I know that that's your number one thing, Matt, that scares me a lot.
It's not my number one thing.
Okay. Well, when we were
And I-
looking at
I
like
still-
your lease facility, I knew that was the
I
big
just
one.
don't want to have our playground not be a fun place to play.
I agree. Is the wood being moved out then? Is
Yeah,
that-
we'll take that out.
That's going, is this where this will go?
Yeah. Kind of plug and play.
You have donations, right?
Yeah, we have $5,000 worth of donations for this project as well.
So that would technically bring this down to 3280.
Yeah.
And that's with free or without free?
It's delivery and install for 37.
Yeah.
Can we
The delivery is the 7,500.
Oh, and I see it, okay.
Can we talk about the bus barn without skipping? Two different bids and money, what's being, so before we move on that, a question, can I ask a question about the next item?
Yeah.
So the bus barn, those bids, like when we were over there with our maintenance, they had talked about having a pit or a place to run away, none of that's in the bid.
Yeah, it's just,
So is that something, because that's gonna change the price dramatically, I would think.
yeah, I think we're just going to keep it
Just level?
Just level.
So that bid is exactly what you want then
Yeah.
on the concrete? Okay.
Put it in, that's good.
I know we talked about that was something that they had thought they maybe wanted, but I just want to make sure because I feel like that bid would change dramatically if we come in and they wanted it.
How much is in special building?
if we scroll up, let me give you just a quick second on the claims, warrants, and transfers thing. I think it's a pretty healthy amount. 451.
451.
Concrete will just come out of maintenance on general fund? Is
Yeah,
that what you're
concrete will come
thinking?
out of maintenance.
Okay.
And maintenance, we budgeted 348.5. So yeah, and we've used 141, so we have 207 left in.
Of this year's budget?
Yeah.
And no, that helps my train of thought here a lot. Thank you. Where do you want to take that display board for student recognition? Where would that money come from?
It's just general instruction, so, because we're kind of looking
For
at that
the
display as kind of a class slash attractive appearance. Janelle, where do you think that makes most sense at?
If her yearbook class is going to maintain it probably under instructional,
Yeah.
Instruction.
be your 1100 codes.
And that one's gonna be, there's gonna be some room in there as well.
But your 5,000 in donations is specifically for the playground.
Yeah, the soccer grant was for 2,500.
And those have already come in. I mean,
Yeah.
they've already been in.
Would this be
our
more
receipts.
than the wood structure was? Like,
Space-wise,
just fun-wise?
yeah, it's,
If you can put a value on that?
yeah, there's like two slides instead of one. No broken tire swing, no rickety bridge. There'll be a bridge kind of aspect in this thing, yeah. So,
It looks nice.
No snubbers.
yeah,
It's all composite.
yeah. It's a different set than kind of what I was envisioning, but after talking with the company, I felt pretty strongly about how they'll be able to do it.
And if we don't do anything, do they have anything to play on?
Yeah,
The
they have
yellow.
the yellow stuff that's getting old. They have the crappy bars. Yeah. They have rocks.
Steel slide with no rain.
They like the zip line stuff. Megan, what would you say?
I have concerns, I think, with, like, looking at all three of them. I don't like the tunnel idea in the first one. Just
We've had tunnel issues.
tunnel issues.
Are you talking like up above or like the slide?
The tunnel, like
The tunnel.
It's where like hang out.
Transparent.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. Can
Yeah,
you
that's
clear
correct.
tunnel?
The tunnel, please.
like, I think we need something. I think the kids definitely need something else out there as well. Simply also with preschool getting their equipment. I mean, there's a lot of the kids who want to go play over there. So it would be nice for them to have something.
Been a long time since we fundraised for playground.
yeah, we didn't really fundraise so much as got got a grant, and then two people saw the award notification and just gave us money, which was really nice. Who are they again? It was Millikins, the two kids in the school, and then Mr. Thompson.
Yeah.
Neil Thompson?
No.
Gerald?
Gerald.
Yeah. Gerald? Oh, nice.
I think we know where it's all coming from, I mean, with all of those things. And there isn't there's not a tunnel on the Kingsman, oh, there is a tunnel.
Yeah, there's a ton. We had an issue with just a little love tunnel earlier in the school year, so it's like,
I mean, it can all be worked around,
yeah.
but
But clear would be nice.
I can't believe that either, it's crazy.
It's materials, basically. I mean, you get a full metal materials and hard plastic stuff from. Yeah, creative was really great to work with the preschool playground, and then the Crouch Recreation does playgrounds all over the place, so. I mean, they're all reputable companies as well, so just different approaches.
It's just hard for me to fathom that from Creative Sites is 126,
Yeah.
and the other one's 37, and that, I don't know, that looks strange.
How can they get on the park?
There's one for like 90 kids and one for
It's
fewer number.
generally like 40 to 70, something like that can play with them. So a ton of kids can play with them.
From the state, so you got like counts.
Yeah, so special buildings, we can tax for that, which we've told the public that we've been taxing for playground upgrades. So like that'll be part of the levy. We put in 4 cents last year. And this year we put 0 in the special bill, we just left it. So we just put everything in the general fund, so that's special building just for new construction type stuff. Kind of a savings account slash have to have a plan for how to spend the money.
It has to be spent. Is there a duration on when you can spend it or just
No.
spend it?
But you have to spend
Like have to spend it on.
it. You just can't take it over to the general fund.
Yeah, it can't be.
It's construction.
That would have been when they pulled the blame from the track.
I think some of it, yeah.
Some of it was general fund.
Yeah.
So you're kind of growing the account in order to do a special project, basically. So this would be,
It's like it's just at like 460 special account.
Yeah, 450, and we didn't get any special bills from the county, so, because we didn't let them, that just now finally stopped, so.
Oh, that was still coming.
It was coming, trickling in.
no,
Like test season.
buildings.
Yeah.
And it's slightly different than depreciation, so you can be like, we could say that it was depreciated, but we wanted to kind of raise money for it through community taxes, so that was one of the reasons we went with special building fund, so.
It's like a lemonade stand.
And it's good to know that they did previously do the newer materials out there with all fundraising, so that's historically speaking.
So, and then we got
25.
a large chunk of new playgrounds paid through, right, through that grant we got.
Yeah, the half of the new playground was paid for, and then we split the grant
When's the last time we spent money on playground?
last year.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Well, that initial, the wooden one that just broke, that was the one that the fundraisers that we had in 2000.
I think that was the newer one.
Is that still there?
Yeah, the yellow one is still
Yeah.
there.
And I don't know when the wooden one was put in.
Yeah, that was very
Was it there when you were there?
No, it was rocks.
Yeah,
We had the old monkey barn.
We had the death traps.
we just had all the scars from the dodgeballs.
Would anybody like to make a motion?
I would make a motion that we do the king swings. Yeah, I think they need something, and I think that we can figure out the tube or the tunnel to make it work right, or a little sign up there.
Make it just sit up there all recess.
She don't like that idea.
All right.
Oh.
Spray bottle.
I mean, I think it is a bright spot in some of the things that we do have to pay for.
Is there a second?
I don't understand, if you listen to them, I don't understand. Stuff, yeah. That's okay.
Motion dies. Can I put in that, can we bring this back next month?
Yeah.
Bring it back up?
Kind of want to see where we're at.
It just scares me, and, I mean, everybody's already freaking out about evaluations, and, I mean, it's not easy times, and then if we go do this and then drop 2, 3, 4, 500,000 on track, it's
No,
gonna
I
get
I
our
understand.
heads.
Because that wouldn't be fixed until this one comes.
No, it's
It's
yeah.
toast. Do we have a removal plan for that?
Yeah, you just call Matt Wells, pick up stuff, dart it to the side.
Does he bring the loader?
Yeah, we haven't talked about it yet, but yeah, he was, when we talked about it last time, he was talking to him.
Okay, is that volunteer work that you charge?
Yeah, he's volunteers.
Okay, we will move on. Review, consider, take action regarding concrete installation for the floor of the Dalton bus barn. Thank you for telling us about the construction account. I was not real aware that we had that money in there, so that makes me feel a lot better about
Just general maintenance.
Yeah, the general maintenance.
So we'll, this has come up quite often. We have thousands of dollars worth of pads and vehicles in there that I just don't want to have ruined by mice and all the other things that could go into the bus barn. So we got 2 quotes that are very comparable. Just leave it to your guys' discretion on which ones you want to do, or if you want to do this. But yeah, that's the.
I mean, some of those mats are like $15,000, so one of them right there is half,
Those
maybe
pole
2/3 of your,
mats, those pole mats are very expensive.
2/3 of your concrete cost there. I don't know any of these, but Weezer's was a better description, I guess, in
And it's local.
my view.
And it's local.
I've had work done by Havger on 2 different buildings.
I have 2.
It's a great job.
Yeah.
I think Shad said he's done work for Shad, and where they at it?
Mitchell.
He's he's your age.
He's, you do your best.
Go get her.
Yeah, and then I looked into Weezer, we did our buildings, and then, what I was told by people who have done Weezer, there's your price, but your price is not gonna be that much, it's probably gonna be higher. So I
Is
feel
the-
comfortable with Havger.
What about the grading? Can Javier do that grading? I mean, he
It's in
talks
the
about it. It's just not as,
I don't, he didn't do much grading in my place.
anybody,
He cleaned up.
Well, you guys have.
We really need the water to go away, because they constructed it in a hole, basically, so we just need some sort of grading, so.
So it runs out.
Yeah, and we'll probably end up looking at probably a drainage system or just gutters on the thing, so we can get the water away from the building.
so quick question. We haven't hardly used any of our maintenance fund this year. Does that roll over? Does it get dumped into next year's maintenance?
Yeah, it's just,
Or
that
like,
would be
it's in
top-
the,
bottom line
It's just
type
budget.
stuff.
It's
right,
budget.
so it's,
Yeah,
okay.
It's general fund.
yeah.
And like I said, the fire alarms are done, but I haven't had that bill yet.
Okay.
And some of that will be reimbursed from insurance,
Right.
not all, but, and that's like 34,000, something like
Water lines on the vehicles you guys showed us too. I mean, it scares me more problems, water getting in.
that. Yeah, I mean, it's just really to protect the investment of the stuff that it houses.
Their
bids are probably good for what, 30 days or so?
30 days.
If you guys have good success with them, I think you should go with it.
In the track, say legal fees, is that coming from, that will come from general?
Yeah, so our legal fee amount right now is on there as well. I think we budgeted 50,000, we're at 26 right now. With the next 2 months to go, so the next 2 months, I would be kind of surprised if our legal fees went too far over that.
We should have a decent idea by next month.
Yeah, and then we'll be looking at next year. I would imagine that we'll probably get the bill from from Justin's people, probably September, I don't know. So it's probably new budget year.
Is there a motion? Yeah, would somebody like to make a motion for one of the?
I'll make a motion to accept the quote from Abigail Construction.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Ernest,
Yes.
Mrs. Ernest,
Yes.
Mr. Shoemaker,
Yes.
Mr. Wiedemann,
Yes.
Mr. Benish.
No.
Review, consider, and take action regarding interactive display board for student recognition.
I can go back real quick on the first on that one.
First by Mitch, second by Dave.
And then Shad was a no on that one.
Good enough?
Yep.
Okay. Review, consider, take action regarding interactive display board for student recognition.
Cool concept. I think it fits really well in with the yearbook staff and all that they're going to be doing as far as the board work goes. Just a way for us to honor the accomplishments of our kids at the high school. It comes with the wall wrapping and all that stuff, so I'm just pretty comfortable with this. Natasha presented a couple months ago on this project as well. So yeah, ideally, I think we should do the 5-year. That way we can take advantage of the 20% discount as well as the, you know, I think we have it for 5 years, we can
So
make
this,
some progress.
am I reading this wrong, or, so, a screen, a subscription, and a wall wrap?
Yes, so it's gonna be, the screen's one.
That's considered one of the
Yeah.
wraps?
So, sorry, the wrap is the bottom.
Okay,
So that's like the $4,000 one.
okay.
And then the TV is one, and then the software pricing is another one, so it's 3.
That's what I was just making sure.
To get the 20%, we'd have to pay $14,000 now.
Yeah.
Plus the TV, plus the,
Yep.
so what's the total?
It's like a whole new curriculum.
20?
Yeah, something like that.
22?
14.6, so, or 14.7.
Why am I not seeing?
It's on this one, Sharon.
Is that
Yeah,
the
Janelle had handed you
screenshot
extra
one?
papers, too.
I just wanted to see that.
Did you say which TVs?
I think that they were thinking that the 55 was the middle ground, just trying to fill the wall.
I don't remember the $4,000 wall wraps last month. I guess I was
So that was like, so the screen is would be like
on the,
on the wall, and then the wall wrap is kind of like similar to what you do for a bus, but like it essentially just has Warrior logos and school colors and stuff like that.
we have to get the wraps right away.
I don't believe so.
Like, we can see how we like the TV,
Yeah.
and then be like, well, we want wraps later, or don't, maybe we don't want them, I don't know. Maybe the kids will put it around.
Where was it going? Was it going in the multi?
No, between the water fountains.
Oh,
Yeah.
where we have the trophy case?
Yeah. Trophy case kind of.
I know that 20% discount's nice, but What if we get a year in and we don't like it? We're like, man.
My problem is, the smart thing to do is get the 20% discount. But I don't wanna spend $14,000.
Yeah,
I
software.
mean, it's $21,000 today.
And they just turn it off like that, pretty much, when they want, and if we don't, okay, I mean, that's what it is. Or after a
Just a
year.
year, it'd be a yearly wrap.
I mean,
a yearly
it doesn't
roll.
make sense not to want the discount. How long is that quote good for?
We just got it Friday, so I'd imagine.
I'm
30
just
days.
wondering, this isn't a hard thing to install, right?
No,
I'd like to, I'm just sour on spending money. I'm 100% think it's a wonderful thing. But to be smart, sign up for 5 years. Because that's the cheapest in the long run. $14,000 for a subscription is a lot for software.
No, you don't get a discount, but I like the year subscription, because, I mean, if we don't like it, or,
So that'd be
It's not
3,500
usable.
versus, I mean, it cost you $700.
extra, what you're losing. on
Honestly,
discount.
then, if you liked it, you went ahead with the 5 years, and it's just gonna cost you $700 a month.
Yeah.
That's short-sighted.
The same as the TV, for $800 you get,
Heck, I can't picture how big a 55-inch TV is.
that's 70, I measured it
It's
for.
not that big?
No, that's 70. That's why I was like the 65 for $800 more, you're almost getting that screen. I'd be more apt to buying a 65-inch. That's,
Can we,
Is there a way, is it just a touch, is it a touch screen then?
I
You
think
can
it's
go
a
up there
touch screen,
and say, I
yeah.
wanna see a 19.
I want to see 1990
That's a good-
class.
91, I guess.
And it should show up, I think as far as the just like show
Like,
pictures.
so what is it gonna eventually have? It's not just sports teams, right?
no, so it'd be
Like
like
class
yearbook
photos.
yeah, class photos,
Like
yearbooks.
student council,
It could
and I think
be,
the place
National
those
Honor
big things
Society.
All the
that you
organizations.
can go through.
The state,
and then
state
multi-
qualifiers.
I just don't
or-
want another
Seems
one
like
that's
it's
just.
next year,
Yeah. Like the boards, I think like the boards and the multi.
part of their job would be to
electronically,
catalog those
VCT.
onto this.
You know, how we have that ACT.
I like the idea it's being used for curriculum.
So how's that? There's just because the
So-
journalism classes.
Yeah, the yearbook class would be in charge of, yeah.
Natasha
So-
just texted me, I can put her on speakerphone if you guys have questions. She says, I can talk if they have questions, she's watching.
I for sure would, I don't like the idea of getting wraps right away. Just let's see how we like it or what it sits.
Can we do the 1 year and then next year tell them, yeah, okay, we like it, we'll do the 5 year?
I would assume so.
I mean, that would be, because that's a lot of money, and then we decide, no.
Or
we don't
3 years
like
from
it,
now,
and
something
then-
comes up and we don't like it, it's like, oh, we can't use it.
Yeah.
Or in 5
Is
years,
there a
something will
warranty?
come out that we like better. Well, that's always a thing with technology.
The wrap is just gonna go on the wall around it,
Yeah, she had a,
just says Leyton or something.
I think she had like an idea that we were given last month.
Yeah.
Like a rough draft, I think.
I have the,
Sticker behind the TV.
Yeah, pretty much. That'd take up the whole wall, just like pretty
Would that be
much.
something?
So that, I mean, that was my thought, could the kids do art
Paint it.
behind
I was
it?
gonna say,
Do
because
something.
this
Miss
is Hanson's
Hanson's.
class.
I'd
Paint on
rather
the-
have
paint
our
on the
work for
wall.
Kids up on the wall.
and we could do like a mural that says like Hall of Fame and they could cross-curricular it, I guess, we could do something like that. I mean, this kind of puts this kind of what their company's doing is just.
What they do.
She's sending you a mock-up.
Yeah, okay, perfect. Thank you, Natasha.
has.
And Dan's still mad about it.
Yeah.
Dan needs to get over it.
I mean,
I'll
was
hillbilly
55
this.
because that's what fits the space?
I'm not sure.
I think it was just,
She's just trying to be in the middle of the road,
I
probably.
think so.
I'd rather pay for 65-inch though for those prices.
That extra 800 pays for the extra subscription.
That it does.
If you
Actually-
just do 1 year.
Actually, it's $100 more.
Exactly, $100 in a month.
As soon as I get that, I'll kind of flip it around so you can see what the.
Do you want to put it on the TV?
Yeah, my funky.
I've got the
thing.
dog, I've got one in my room.
Oh, okay, perfect. Sorry, I use an Apple computer and they don't have the other cords. Yeah, everything's proprietary nonsense. Then they got hooked
I
in.
don't even know what that is.
Yeah, we should just.
Maybe.
Yeah.
That's all. Just pass it out.
To switch to college and
I just wanna go back to changing the channels this way. Use your children.
Oh, I love my smart TVs, that was pretty handy.
Yes, I do too. Thank you.
Yeah, Natasha's girls swept the East too. That was even more awesome. 5-0. The girls played well, they had it on the radio.
I thought they had the Shrine ball.
On the TV. Well, Scotts Bluff had the football and basketball, or it's football.
On the
volleyball.
radio?
Yeah.
Oh,
And the West Boys won too. It was Norman, our coach.
Yeah. So they made a point, who said that they both had MAC coaches.
I love it. I love it.
MAC
Man,
head
guys
coaches.
coaching. 11 man. And Reed Fiskus was sitting in the quarterback. He was MVP. Best quarterback. And grand ball. Tony likes to run. And he would be happy. Careful what you pull up there, man.
No. I'm just waiting for that to say 4 instead of 3.
All right, she said she just sent it.
Okay.
Didn't work out. Well.
That one Sydney kid played on the other team too, didn't he? He played in the Shrine Bowl, the running back.
McCarthy? No, he played up here.
No, oh, no, Shattern kid.
Oh.
That kid was
Running back.
Yeah. Just out of Baker County.
Who won the Shrine Bowl? I didn't see.
Karen kid didn't even get to play. He was knee out practice.
Oh.
Williams kid. He was good friends with John.
That's a good one. Don't do that.
He blew it out 2 years. So, he played football, so. Yeah, you see that. And, see that, well, it's not coming through.
No, it's fine. She sent it to me in a text message. Why? I didn't check my text. I'll send somebody
See
new.
it? Basically.
Tough league.
Maybe you have football scholarships. I got a scholarship.
We had a kid go down to the Saratoga game.
It's there now.
Start.
Okay, oh, there she is. So she said without the words though, because she
That's
doesn't want
kinda
to say Warriors Hall of Fame, but that would be the graphic and kind of the. So that's the concept. It's sick.
That's pretty cool.
Just don't like the idea of spending $2,000 on a piece of paper for a wall. Wallpaper. Yeah.
I mean, Yeah, we could, if it came out crisp and nice, I think art class could do that same type of thing.
The left side, maybe.
Yes, they can do that. I mean, if they want an A, then why can't they do that? That's what our class does.
And if it doesn't work, it's something we can always come back and revisit.
Is that a wall that's
or-
easily paintable? Is that, what is
It's
that?
the one, is it?
Yeah, that's
It's
just,
a kind of
you can, I can see it more clear here, but it's just like the hallway walls, they're very flat, just with one seam in between sections. So it's
I mean,
not
it doesn't even
paneled.
have, it could be anything. It could be
Yeah.
just a big L and spread paint, maroons, gold, cardinal, whatever we are.
She says they use a local company to install, so we could always remove the TV at a later date to install the wrap if we want to wait on
Thank you.
it. Like you could try the kiddos,
Give the
if
kids a
it doesn't
chance.
work, we paint over it and do a
I
wrap.
think it'd be cool if the kids' work was up on the walls anyways,
Yeah.
representing them, but yeah, we can always come back to it.
When someone goes to put a sticker up to the kind
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen wraps in schools on brick walls that kids vandalize, so it can happen.
You could do something cool with a projector and some paints. You know, Mrs. Hanson is very detail oriented, so something she could totally do.
I think that,
All
I
right.
think if we're doing it for curriculum's sake, I think that would be a cool thing for the art.
Incorporate the art too.
Do we have a motion?
Maybe more to one class, maybe.
I would make a motion to purchase the 55-inch screen and a 1-year subscription.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Ernest,
Yes.
Mr. Shoemaker,
Yes.
Mr. Wiedemann,
No,
Mr. Benish,
Yes.
Mr. Ernest.
No.
13.
Thank you. Were you gonna say something?
I'm slow, sorry.
Yes, no, yes, no, yes.
Sorry, was,
First by Benish, second by Mrs. Ernest, and the no's from Mr. Wiedemann and Mr. Ernest.
You good to know? No?
Yep.
Okay. Review, consider, and take action regarding signing an interlocal agreement to be included in vaults and secure 1C.
so we've used vaults in the past 2 to 3 years that I've been here. We'll use it again next year. It's been a very good thing for our kids to have a seat for the vaults program. We've just been going kind of like the side door or whatever, like we're not really members of the consortium for vaults, so I just want to make sure we are a member so we don't lose a slot when they fill up. Sydney is going to a approach of their own, so they're going to require less seats from the vaults. So we want to keep this program available. And part of doing that is to have some skin in the game.
I met with Janella, the board, the ESU board comes up with it, talks about an agreement, because that was my worry. You don't know until school starts, but our last 3 bills have been 1,800, 2,000, 2,000. And was that semester or quarter?
First semester.
First semester, and was, I'm guessing, one student, or was there several?
I think it was one student. each
One student,
semester.
so
We had 2 students go this year.
But one
They were
was
one
first semester, yeah.
Okay. So I'm guessing it jumped $200 from the year before to this last year,
Yeah.
because they needed to,
But
so.
we're kind of guaranteed we're using one
Oh, yeah.
this
Yeah.
next year.
Mhm.
Yes.
So it is going to be $4,000.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they'll come up with a rate, so.
I love signing something that they say, here's your rate.
yeah, it's gotta-
So to
I
put
mean,
it
I
in
know we gotta
perspective,
have this
yeah, Sydney's
backup.
their program, they offered us seats for $5,000. So Sydney had offered us an alternative spot.
And you like this vault program better, don't you?
Yeah, the Vols program gives you an actual teacher.
And this is an ESU
Yeah.
program.
It's in Scottsbluff.
Yeah, but there's a Sydney campus.
Is there?
Yeah, so our kids go to Sydney.
Do we have any other cost of these kids besides
their cost per semester at the transfer program.
We don't pay mileage.
No.
We don't give them a device either, they have their own device, or the vaults provides a device.
No,
And I think this is just an alternative pathway to a diploma for a lot of these kids.
so basically, it's been a handshake deal, but now they want us to sign something.
They're afraid that the program will die out this way without,
And then kids,
Without
then
making
kids
school
won't
sign.
have, then kids won't have an alternative.
yeah.
Gotcha.
If, say something comes up and we have 2 kids that need to be in it, will they be accepted in?
Yeah.
Okay.
What are their slots?
If there's a slot, they're more than happy
We
to.
can use other school slots that they're not using.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, there's a total number, I assume.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I would make a motion to sign an interlocal agreement with Vaults program to secure 1 seat.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Shoemaker?
Yes.
Mr. Wiedemann?
Yes.
Mr. Benish?
Yes.
Mr. Ernest?
Yes.
Mrs. Ernest?
Yes.
Okay. Review, consider, and take, review, consider, and take action regarding Rule 10 safety audit.
Rule 10 safety audit is just something that they do every year. A former superintendent from Baird comes down and walks your building and talks about safety stuff. He recommends things that you do to keep up, like put a camera in that wrestling room when you do it. So each time you have these safety walkthroughs, it fulfills a state requirement of Rule 10. And then he also gives you some suggestions of how to get better. You can read through the audit, all really great stuff. He was the guy that said, hey, you guys need to fix your ventilation system in the shop. So we did it. This time he said, you know, we got some stuff out these windows here that just aren't, you know, they're, oh, that's okay. He said something like, your drainage on this side is pretty unsafe with the metal that we have just kind of protruding up. He said, I imagine you probably hit snow blowers on it, and the guys were like, yep. And you know, when you hit something with a four-wheeler, it's jarring. He also said you probably better come up with a plan for the north side of the high school, because you're basically creating a sheet of ice out there every winter.
Gosh, for the past 70 years.
Yeah, so what it does currently is it just, all the roof drains just goes out.
And that's just a big thing on it.
Just, so there's no system that's like dug in and shoots it out to the road. It's just laying on the concrete and lays off.
Like our building and grounds guys have had troubles hitting them, they're cleaning sidewalks and stuff.
And then the last thing he said was just considering your doors. I mean, our building's a safety nightmare with all of the huge glass out in front of everything. So if the bad guy wants to come in, we're in trouble in this building. Just because of the way it's set up. I mean, we have huge sheets of glass here that can just go in an instant. So he said, to come in through the door, you might want to consider putting either safety film on there or reading the doors. So those were his 3 suggestions for this year. But the list got pretty small though, so that's kind of ticky-tack, which is kind of what you like.
I think the windows have been a complaint every year since I've been on the board. Do we need to accept this?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we just accept it each year, and then when we fill out our reports, it says, did you have a safety walkthrough? Yes, we did, it was here. Okay, Rule 10.
We have a motion to accept the Rule 10 safety audit.
I think so moved.
Second. I'll second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Wiedemann?
Yes.
Mr. Benish?
Yes.
Mr. Ernest?
Yes.
Mrs. Ernest?
Yes.
Mr. Shoemaker?
Yes. Review, consider, take action regarding policy 3040, school safety and security, third reading.
This is the 3rd time we've read through this. Basically, we just wanted to add in with the approval of the superintendent, correct, Janella?
Without
Without, because it says may not be used.
Oh, yeah, okay, great.
Without.
Without the, yeah, So that was
We
the
could do
word.
it again and say, maybe.
You might come across this table that you should.
Possibly.
This one, I don't know how we screwed this one up. So I think it's probably just me not seeing all the angles of that policy. So I apologize that we had to go through readings on this. But the lawyer's feedback was without the approval of the superintendent. So I recommend that we accept this policy.
We have a motion to accept policy 3040, school safety and security. Second.
Second.
Dave, roll call please.
Mr. Benish?
Yes.
Mr. Ernest?
Yes.
Mrs. Ernest?
Yes.
Mr. Shoemaker?
Yes.
Mr. Beedman?
Yes.
Oh, the fun one. Review, consider, and take action regarding KSB policy updates to the following policies.
Okay, perfect. So let's talk through that binder. Can't wait. We are gonna try to get this thing done in 20 minutes. However, if it takes longer, that is totally fine.
And that,
So-
9 pages of questions.
that'd be pretty slow.
Oh, so policy revisions, after watching and
Thanks for coming,
rewatching
Megan.
the policy.
Good job, guys.
Let me show you how to turn this off.
After watching and rewatching the policy revisions from KSB, this is a service that we pay to do all of our policies. So it's a fantastic thing to do. It's just every year stuff changes. So when they change stuff, some of them are going to be like legally you have to do this to make sure it's done. Or it'll be things that say highly recommended or just make a choice. So all of our policies are not from my head, they're all from this legal service. And we pay $1,500 a year for this. The startup on it was huge, and it's been a very great service for us to have. There's 3 different ones in the state, and then we just chose KSB.
I think I was on the board the first time when we started doing it.
Nice.
And I don't think it was KSP though, it was,
That was KSB.
was it?
Mhm.
Okay.
We've been done all the time.
So let's go ahead and go with just straight down the list. Policy 1002, basically they just want us to change this policy so that you don't have to continue to change things. Like you list all of the different items in the original, and in this way they slim it down so you just have the policy says that you have these, you don't
have to list them out at all.
Yeah, you don't have to list out all of the
Every time it
different.
changes or anything, so.
What, you mean,
Yeah.
so if it changes, the red lines will be in the policy?
I'm sorry, so, if we probably better look at it. So 1002, basically what it's going to do is, they said you have to have parental involvement policy, Title I policy, student fees policy, all of these. So instead of listing them all out, it says on here, you'll have all the policies, and they will be updated, so that you don't list it all out. It changes it from a 2-pager to a 1-pager. So it just says we'll have them all available. And it also says that the official handbook will be the one that is currently online on our district website. So that's the changes to policy 1002. So if we,
They're also saying that we no longer have to list the date when it's adopted, revised, or reviewed.
Oh, now see, that was my question.
Yeah.
I kind of like that, because then.
Right.
You know, if you got the right one.
Yeah, well, and we were told that, well, we haven't been going over
Right.
policies for years. Well, yes, we have.
So that's why I put, should we continue to do, even if we're taking
Yes,
it out?
I like
I
it.
think,
Yes.
I like
I like
that we show that, yes,
did look
we
When it
read
was
that every
revised or
year.
reviewed or,
Okay.
Yes,
So we can omit that as being required, like they're saying, but continue.
yeah. Yeah, that was,
If that's not too much work.
No, that's fine.
that is absolutely perfect.
we're not
Okay.
getting through this.
2006, they just cleaned up some language in the Title IX rules from the Biden administration that are no longer in effect. So they just crossed out the things that were no longer in effect. We'll come back to discussions on Title IX a little bit later, but those are the changes. They just cleaned up stuff that was no longer in effect from the Biden administration, and then it's So those red lines are just taken out, nothing is added in. So this change is required. The revision to, it looks like we have 2008 was the next one on here.
Yes, it wasn't on the KSB memo, but it was on their website, I think they talked about
That's
it
a
on
required
their video.
change.
Yeah.
Yes.
So 2008, those are just publication types things. When you have to have your stuff in the newspaper, and if you miss a newspaper deadline, then you can put it on your website, but everyone wants it to be in the newspaper still. We're gonna still do our best to do everything in the newspaper.
But that could save us where we
Newspaper has
had
the-
times where we're like, oh, we didn't get a meeting because we couldn't get it in soon enough.
Yeah, because
You can't put it
publication
on a
dates are
local
pretty.
radio station website, but you can put it in the Omaha World Herald.
Yeah.
But locally, you have
Yeah, I'm sure people will get on that
newspapers that print
website.
once a week and
Right.
you're missing your.
Yeah, we
We
don't
bid-
wanna miss it, but it offers some flexibility where you can.
It started old 3 times.
Well, they did something good.
And on page 2, the highlighted required, that's what the board had wanted several years ago. So I'm
Required to
assuming you
publish.
still want that.
Required to publish.
Yeah, I like
Okay,
that.
so,
Gives you something to do. Sure.
The next one is 3003, bidding for construction, remodeling, and site improvements. They upped the value on this one. So the architects and the engineers, their professional associations just made it go from 119,000 to 144,000. It's just a reflection on that value. I don't know if there was anything else that was on that one, just that
just
value.
that.
So their association got together and said, maybe the value needs to be a little higher.
Trees.
The next one is, this was an update. This is how stupid this one is. Section G, there's 4 letters that change. It's just a full citation. So if you go to section G,
Page 11.
page 11,
16 pages.
It's 16 pages and they're just adding a little bit in there.
no, this was a federal audit, so they got audited, and on their desk audit, they didn't have the correct
Our 200 sub-party.
Yeah.
How much time do they spend on that? Tax
That's-
dollars they wasted.
Because it's a service, sometimes that stuff will happen, so like you'll have a federal review come through your school, and they'll say like, this isn't right, so you call the service and tell them, well, it wasn't right because of this, and then they can fight that battle for you and get that done. So yeah, that was a very simple one. Under, the next one is 3023. That one was record management and retention. We currently use option 1, and we want to keep using option 1. It's just how we do our Google apps. So that's basically it on that one.
They're adding the last paragraph.
Oh, sorry,
the
yeah.
last page.
If you're awarded a federal grant, you have to retain those records for 3 years. So that's not too
I'm
bad.
surprised it's not, I'm surprised it's not more than that.
I'm happy that it's not. 'cause-
Well, yeah, it's good.
So handbooks is the next one. I think this one will be a little bit more of a,
The only thing I saw that one, and that is in the first red thing, it should say effective board policy when approved by the Board of Education instead of approved with the Board of Education.
Wow, Susie.
I know, that's my
You
jam.
did some deep reading.
I read them.
Which paragraph, Susie?
It's the very first red one,
Okay.
at the very end of the sentence.
Should say approved by.
Gotcha.
It's like looking over the minutes, that's what we change.
Okay. Basically, they're moving policy 5034 to this.
yeah, 5034 is gonna be intentionally left blank, so it's not a duplicate policy. This was a duplicate policy. And this is the one that says, yeah, the handbook is just like policy. So if it makes the handbook, you guys have blessed that, and that's policy. So if we have a rule change in, like a school rule change. This one's stupid, 3036. There's no way to get refunded from a school credit card purchase, so they just took that out of there. So that was the 3036.
And they're making it be itemized, right?
No, you just can't get,
If you
like,
bought something with a school credit card, you're not getting the money back.
yeah, you don't get your money back.
So like if we buy gas and we don't,
But if we use a school credit card, what, they don't have to reimburse us.
Yeah, if you use your own credit card.
If you're using your own credit card,
then
then
it
yes.
is.
So it's just a stupid, like, mix for years, I guess. 3034, this was, just says that, the legal requirements for school districts using the design build project delivery system, you need to have a licensed architect or professional engineer. There's lots of red lines in this one, but they said it's gonna be a more organized policy on the design build contracts.
And it's required.
Yeah. Below the dollar amount, but you still have to follow, so the projects that are below the $896,000, you still have to follow the guidelines of having an engineer or an architect. But this just cleans up that policy.
15
So
pages.
do our percentages then
Yeah, I was
stay
gonna
the way
ask
ours
that.
are?
Yeah, whatever, if that's what you want, that's what the board voted years ago.
Yeah.
That's on page 11.
Yeah, page 11, we just made up numbers in here evidently, and that's okay. I mean, I think that's how you evaluate who you're picking for your architect. We just said, we just gave each one of them percentages,
Yeah, that's what the board decided at that time when it first came out.
Okay.
just how you go through your selection process out of there. And I mean, I don't see a ton of $1 million projects going through the school,
Oops, sorry.
but you never know.
It could happen.
3047 is all about what happens in the event of a data breach. So essentially, they're just gonna approve people to have information and give them back. So last year, Power School was breached, and they had to say, like, they had to go to all this, how you notify people that were breached. So luckily that hasn't happened to us, but if it does happen, it'll give us more guidance on what you would have to do in case of a data breach.
So this is pretty much just saying you have to come up with something and we'll be able to see who has everybody's stuff.
Yeah, basically the people that you have the system through can come in and tell you like who all was breached. Yeah. So it kind of gives them, puts a little bit more onus on the company that was breached.
Okay.
It just gives them, like, because they're gonna have a statement for you to send out and things like that. So it's just giving them that. So if there is new FERPA laws, that might change. So like that's hospitals, it's like HIPAA, schools, it's like FERPA. So it's just our confidentiality umbrella. Okay, policy 3057 is the big one. 3057, we have two different options on what to pick here. My preference is that we go with option number one, same with Janela. Option number one is significantly pared down from the 2020 policy, which maintains its required substance in a simplified version. So basically what it says is you have that policy, 3057, as your policy, instead of 3057 with all of these.
So you can narrow it down to one paragraph?
Yeah.
But, okay, but so my question of that was, does that mean that if somebody files a complaint under Title IX with us, is it up to us just to decide how it's investigated, or
So,
on
yeah.
section 2, it outlines everything that we need to do?
Yeah, we will still be required to investigate the matter.
The way it shows on part 2?
Yes, yeah, we'll still be responsible for investigating the exact same way. It's just pared down. So
Just in
there's,
the, just as it reads in the policy, then it's
Yeah.
pared down.
Yeah,
But not pared down like
What you
in
do about
everything
it?
you have to do?
yeah, no, you'll still have to.
Okay.
So we'll still have to contact our lawyer and go through the process of it. So we'll still use the process the same way and investigate, it just takes the,
Let's clean the policy up.
yeah. Well, I mean, there's some risk on this one. So here's the risk. There'll be, so one law firm has the Title IX full length option number 2. But what KSB is saying is, did you grab the person's butt? You did, now student discipline. So they're saying, instead of taking 30 days of your time in the Title IX investigation, if you need to, you can still do all of the investigation stuff. So that's the risk that's involved with it, I guess.
You can just take care of stuff right away if you want with this,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Where that, I mean, yeah.
I would think most parents would like that anyways, like this, cleaner, faster, if you can do it.
Yeah, like this, there was a situation this year where we had a Title IX investigation at the school, and it took us probably 9 weeks to get to the end of it. So we used everything here, and then an outside person came in and did it as well. Janelle, anything to add to that? Am I missing anything?
Yeah, the only reason I like the shorter one is because we have to print the entire policy in the handbooks. So I like the shorter one.
But are we putting ourselves at risk by having that shorter one? And if something happens,
You can still
it's
use
like,
it.
oh, well, Bob, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my concern. It's there for safety.
So, but like, this one you said took 9 weeks, right?
Yeah.
For safety wise, wouldn't it have been easier for whatever incident, the victims of this Title IX that you had to do, or who they thought they were, if they could have had that cleared up and they didn't know the answer right away? Is that what you're saying, like it would have just made everything a lot easier?
Potentially, but I think that one probably would have went this
The
way
whole thing
anyways.
is-
Yeah.
okay.
So just so I'm clear, that this is still an option. You still would have to go through like whether it's domestic violence, statutory rape,
Yes.
blah, blah, blah. If it gets to that, or if you think it needs to go that far.
Yeah, you still have to respond, you still have to train, all those different things, but it's just pared down.
I just want to make sure that if somebody needs it, that entire
The entire
option,
process.
that entire option 2 is available for.
Nikes. Yeah, it is pretty long.
It's horribly long, and the Biden administration made it twice as long, but,
This is like our most important
yeah.
document for safety's sake, though, as far as like sexual harassment, sexual violence, a lot of different things. It's not just sports teams.
Right, it's not,
That's the big
yeah.
one.
Well, it's, you guys are the ones dealing with it, know it more, and what it, for me, it's what you guys are comfortable with here.
So can we take a couple notes on this, Janelle, for me?
Mhm.
Can we pull 3057 and then run it through John Selzer and just make sure that we have the best?
Because you
I
need
would
an
feel
actual
comfortable, more
decision
comfortable
on
with
this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we'll pull,
Option 1 or 2.
yeah, it just has to be ready for school, so we'll come back to it
Okay.
in June.
Thank you for taking the
Yes,
extra
thank
time
you.
to check. Excuse me, sorry.
Okay, this is 3060, I wasn't prepared to speak on this one, Janelle, can you talk on this one?
I don't have much on it either. It wasn't on the KSB memo, but it was on the website, and it says
Oh.
changes are required, and you have to select an option, so I don't know if it was on your webinar.
No, it wasn't, but the options are overnight storage of fire alarms are allowed, or not allowed,
Firearms?
firearms.
Okay.
So,
Do we have a policy that's, I mean, I.
we don't
I didn't have a
allow,
chance to-
we don't allow employees to carry firearms, so the way I read this is we would stick to our existing policy until we make a change.
It says changes required.
Yeah, you have to choose either option 1 or option 2.
So
What's the point of the yellow?
overnight storage, why would you store?
It's for class 1 and class 2 schools.
Yeah, so.
So that's,
Let's just
Oh,
go.
I see down there.
So we could just go with
I
option
see, I
2
didn't read the
that
rest.
says-
or are we at
Not
class
allowed.
3?
We're on 3.
Yeah.
But it's, I mean, let's go with not allowed.
So option 2.
Okay.
Is that? We don't have to vote on that individually, right?
No.
Okay. We can just say we're taking option 2.
Everybody get with that?
Maybe I'm wrong, maybe.
Peace officers do the authorized.
Maybe somebody wants option 1, I'm sorry.
Okay, social media use. This one has a lot of, I'm just gonna read their policy, like, in a nutshell. They got this, right? Okay, so this was the whole one that was like, simple tweaks, but essentially they're saying like, if you have time to, if you're on your planning time, or if you're on like your lunch break, if you have time to order a pizza, you can have time to do a social media tweet or whatever. We don't want to live in that area. So it also says we've updated the relevance and rules for deleting comments, blocking posts and users. They've always had their policy that says that school accounts should have their comments off. We keep ours on, so you take the good with the bad on those. And I kind of want to keep that going. So First Amendment rights kind of come up on this one too. If you're saying something about the school that they don't like, oftentimes I'll just call the people. So, yeah, anything else to this one, Janella?
I don't have anything from you. Did you go through that one too? Lisa?
What's that?
On the social media.
No, I just, yeah, I mean, if you guys want to, we've kept them on, so.
Can you turn them on for specific posts and turn them off for posts? Do you do that?
I've only turned them off, I think, twice in all the years that we've had it so far.
Okay, so on number 2, or it'd be number 1, I guess, on that, would Sports U be considered social media? Because it has like a platform where you can post and you can see things.
I would say no, just because I can't see football Sports U. It's not out for everybody. But.
Right, but us as coaches are messaging the kids
Right.
on there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's,
Is that considered?
yeah.
Yeah, so it's unacceptable then, according to this. School-day communication with educators took out students, parents, and patrons. We do talk to parents on there, but that's how we, a couple of years ago, moved. Well, that's because that's when we quit texting teachers, or like, text your kid, we're doing this, this, and this. So we
But you
switched
had
to
to have
Sports
an app, you
U.
had to have the app
Oh,
that
so-
the superintendent had, or that everybody was allowed to be
Yes,
on.
I think they're talking more like Instagram.
I know, I'm just saying in case someone brought something up. Technically, it's a social media app, and
Yeah, that might be a. I view it more as a.
because I think you can
communication
message
tool.
certain people on there too. That's why I'm just. Just making sure.
Yeah, I'm thinking we're gonna call that just a communication tool.
Okay. It is super handy because you
Yeah.
can message the kids, the parents, it's the full team.
That's the
It's-
that's the safest way to do it. I don't want our teachers texting kids.
Right, right.
That's begging for trouble. Okay, the next one is the superintendent evaluation. Under the superintendent evaluation, what they wanted to get across on this one is that you're not required to do this at the school board meeting. You can evaluate the superintendent through committee, or you can do it in the board meeting. So they're taken out at the board meeting. So you don't have to do it at the board meeting, you can do it in committee. I don't mind, I like doing it at the board meeting, but I would also like to talk individually as well. Because sometimes the evaluation, it's, we all know that the camera's on and everything, I think there's opportunities in there where we can talk about the evaluation by committee as well. So I'm not all about, you know, duplicating efforts, but at the same time, like, we don't have to do the superintendent evaluation at the meeting, but you can. So if we wanted to change that, we certainly could.
Well, we can't really talk about anything anyways unless you tell us to, right? Get out of it, so.
I don't really want to talk about the whole thing publicly, it's just a little bit. I just think that you're a little bit more reserved when the public's watching you give feedback. Like if you were talking to a staff member, like a teacher evaluation, and you know the whole world could be watching you, you'd probably be a little bit more. Sure. Yeah. You know.
What's the difference between committee and closed session then, I guess from your standpoint?
I don't want to go into closed session really at all. Yeah.
So committee is just three of us at a time.
Right.
Yeah, if three,
It's not saying we can't do it at the meeting.
no,
Yeah,
We
it's
still can.
yeah, you still.
It's still an option.
but we can meet like twice.
You guys can come in and just say, let's go over the evaluation together. Here's areas where, you know, we really want to hit home on your job performance, things like that. So I'd actually kind of prefer a committee approach as well, so. Okay, 4059, they took out, it has to be 1 hour, but the training needs to be on behavioral and mental health training. So all school employees who interact with students have to have some training in behavioral and mental health. The training may include, but may not be limited to topics such as warning signs, symptoms of behavioral and mental health issues. So we'll continue to do this, but it's just a list of added topics that can be in there. The length of the training is going to be determined by me. And we'll probably use something like Safe Schools to do that. Any other things that you have for that? I just, you know, the main thing with that is they just want to make sure that you are addressing students' behavioral, and what to do in behavioral situations as well as mental situations. 5051 is a change that's required, and we kind of wanted to go bold on this one. We have been doing some shady stuff with this. It's not necessarily shady, it's just not, our policy does not even look like their policy. Ours is a homemade policy for attendance and absenteeism, and I just don't think that that's the right way to go. I think that we need to go with what the KSB.
So I printed 2 copies. One is our current policy, and then right behind it, I put the attorney copy. In the first couple pages, you can see a few changes, but in the next 2 pages, they're not even close.
Yeah, so our suggestion is to adopt the 5001 as our policy and scrap the 5001 from our handbooks and policy guides.
Do you want to take
We want the
KSB's
KSB.
recommended one?
I don't know why we have this. I don't know what the.
A lot of it was from COVID, and then it was a lot of the changes in county attorneys, and so we revised a lot of it ourselves.
So we just want to get out of that habit and just have the lawyers make policies and we just enforce it. Does that make sense on 5051?
Yeah.
5,000.
Sorry, 5000.
So we're okay doing the attorney copy?
Yeah.
All of it?
5001, 5001.
Yeah, 501. Okay.
It also, like our policy did not say at day 5 when we send a letter, at day 10 we contact the school church. So I think we need to have that in there so it gives our attendance people.
I think at one point it was in there. And then
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
changed.
Because when I was in school, there was a kid in my class that got for 20 absentees, and I believe got 10
Yeah,
days.
it used to be in there and then it changed. I don't know if it changed because of COVID or what the deal was, but it was in there.
Okay, so 50, 15, and 5018 have to be adopted by July 1st.
50 and 50.
Or else burn it.
Just these two?
Or else we have to meet again.
No, but they just burning at the stake.
Yeah.
So protection of pupil rights.
So all it is adding that red, the little red paragraph on page 2.
Yeah.
That's it?
They'll comply with any survey requirements found in the district's policies on parent involvement in education practices. So yeah, that one's pretty simple.
Little parent.
And then 5018.
Yeah, sorry, 5016 was written in the, we probably better go 5016 next. What was 5016 that stood out?
So you're basically just adding that one sentence on all the options. So I just put that we do currently have option 2, but we still had EduStar in there. We use JMC now. So if we're staying with option 2, we need to make that change.
Okay.
But basically, it's just that one sentence that's being added in there.
And you're fine with that?
Yeah, I think you looked at that too, didn't you?
Yeah.
Allison?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
looked at that too.
So if we just say, we're
GMC.
sticking with option, add GMC.
And JMC. Yeah.
5018, parent involvement. Lots of strikes in this
Wow.
one. I didn't have any notes in particular that were a big deal on this one. Any questions on parent involvement?
And changes are required.
Yeah.
So this is
Why did
just,
they
These
take
are
out all the
federal,
guardians?
these are
So we're
federal.
not deciding.
Why did they take out all guardian?
Well, I think maybe some of that's political stuff, just, so you could have said families, or they just went with parents, so, I don't know.
I mean, I just think that's a weird word to be removing out of it.
Yeah, you wouldn't put that one.
So, I guess for me on 5018 would be,
Be under what?
yeah, I guess I'm confused. So 5018. Building principal will request and determine the allowable volume and time frame of the rezone of the review to prevent disruptions to the efficient operation of the district. I mean, does a parent coming in and asking for curriculum materials or what the kids are being taught take? Not that it would be a problem with us, I just can't believe that.
That would cause a disruption.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you didn't like somebody or there's a problem, the principal's like, well, we're busy, see you in 2 weeks. Well, I can tell you as a parent, I don't think that's a problem here. I'm just saying that a principal could do that and now they're running into more issues.
Yeah, I think we're gonna show them everything we have.
I'm not worried about us, it just seems weird.
Yeah, I think this is for the people that are like, well, I need to come in right now and
24/7.
see all of your books that you have in the library that talk about transgender people and stuff. And, you know, we're trying not to worry that stuff. So I think that's just setting the stage for, like, if you wanna come in, let's see how long it'll take and
Okay.
make it less of a distraction. 5031, they said this will change absolutely everything as far as student dress code goes. So if you had, like, spaghetti straps are not allowed, like, you just can't put that in there. So we need to read this one word for word. And complain about it as much as you want to, but the state has a sample state dress code that we're gonna go with. So,
The only thing I didn't see in it is, there's nothing that refers in there to political.
yeah, so if you wanna wear the Let's Go Brandon shirt, or if you wear the Let's Go Brandon shirt and somebody finds it offensive, it's your First Amendment right to wear it. So they're
Okay.
saying don't.
So a teacher can't say to a kid, you need to go change your shirt.
Right.
I mean, regardless of whatever affiliation or whatever.
You should be able to say whatever you want.
Right,
Within
right,
reason.
that was-
So,
Within
yeah.
reason,
Right.
I mean, but you should be able to say who you like,
And they,
right?
I was mainly concerned with, I thought the model dress code would probably be like, here's what you can wear to school. This is the definition of so now like leggings that look too little on you, who are they distracting? Are they distracting the adults? You know, like, because they don't like the fact that the kids are getting away with wearing stuff like that. Those are gonna be the questions that we're just gonna send to admin.
I was gonna say, who makes that decision?
It's gonna be, teachers are gonna have to funnel all that to admin.
I wouldn't want to make that
Yeah.
decision, man.
So, like the building principal and all of our staff are going to have to read this one word for word and just make sure that they realize that it's not.
Can we create more guidelines within this policy? Or like cans or cans or?
I wouldn't touch it at all.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
We tried to do this when I was on the board before, and you would not believe the amount of parents who wanted their rights to send their children naked to school.
I remember, I was in high school, I remember that fight.
So
It was a
those
fight
are,
that, holy moly.
and I think we're just gonna have to rely on our parents in our community. And they said, anything that has to do with dress code, if a kid refuses to do it, you can use short-term suspensions for that. You can never expel a kid for dress code stuff. It always has to be handled with short-term type things. So, yeah, this it's kind of wide open. So this could be an interesting time for student dress. I think the best way to handle it is really get familiar with what the policy says and know that it is not from a local person, it is all state mandated. So I see in here a couple of different things that, you know, like you can't ask a kid to cut their hair. And you have to engage in a good faith effort to reasonably accommodate the student, even if the student's hair is like, if they refuse to wear their hair over their welding mask. So,
That's safety.
yeah, it's, and then you have to notify the parents if you do such things, so it's interesting.
Good luck.
Yeah, so we have to get very familiar with this, so we know exactly what to expect with dress code stuff coming up. This is coming from my daughter was dress coded at this school 4, 5, 6 different times, so like I get it, I appreciate it, but like maybe that according to this, maybe that wouldn't have been the case. 5034 is just deleted, it's intentionally left blank.
Why don't they have to match up?
5034,
Yeah.
it's redundant, it says the same thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, I
They
see what
moved
you're
it to
saying.
3026.
Uh,
60/25.
So this is the big one. They have options. Option 1, use at school option. Option 2, only before and after and during passing and lunch options, which I don't like. In a storage system. And option 4, complete ban. And then I speak out of both sides of my mouth when I say, I think maybe this last one might be the policy for us.
From the
Well,
other
read the
student, or from
comments.
the other districts?
Yeah, this is from South Platte and Grand Island, so,
This last one?
yeah.
Even the community input comments,
That's what that one would be, right?
yeah, well, I mean, most people said they don't need them.
Yeah.
That was the majority
That's what it
of
looked
the
like.
responses.
A couple parents thought, well, you know, I'd sure like to be able to call my kid.
Call the school.
Call, yeah, exactly, we had to call the school.
So,
Is Mr. Henderson still here?
Yeah.
You can join us.
No,
He's snoozing over there.
hi,
Can we have a teacher's perspective?
My perspective is probably going to be different than many of my colleagues. I utilize student cell phones quite often in the classroom. course, if they have it out and I haven't given them permission, they, you know, it ends up in the surveillance office. There's some issues with it. Some students like to use it to kind of cancel out the noise when they're working independently. I don't know. As our technology continues to evolve, as educators, we're going to have to continue to evolve to accommodate it. I don't know, from my personal opinion, that banning cell phones in the classroom is going to be effective in any sort of disciplinary measure. That's personal opinion.
How many teachers do we have that maybe utilize their cell phones in the classroom? Anybody?
I know, I was just talking to my husband up before the meeting, and his policy, and kids know, he has the pocket thing hanging on his wall. They come in, drop it in. No, like, they know, and if they don't, it's gone immediately. But there are times that he said, he's like, but there are times where I say, get your phone out, we're gonna look this up, or certain things. But it's very disciplined, and it's very intentional if he is. Like, he counts heads, he counts phones. you
So
know.
what can they look
So-
up on the phone that they can't look up on the computers that we pay for?
Yeah, I don't
Like
know.
what, reasonably, and if
Yeah.
not, that's fine, it's just easier, but like we spend all this money to upgrade technology so our students can do.
Well, respectfully, we're dealing with teenagers.
Right.
So oftentimes the device isn't charged. And so there is an online interactive.
But their phone is 100%.
Yeah, the phone is charged.
That's my
Yeah,
lecture. If
yes.
your phone is charged, your laptop better be charged.
Or, you know, they've dropped their computer and Mrs. Haley was working on getting it fixed. We don't quite have a loaner, so they're using that for an online interactive.
Okay.
Or every year we culture bacteria several times in the science lab. And part of their assignment is to write a report and include pictures of these bacteria through the microscope. Can't do that with a computer.
Right.
I'll simply have them put their phone up to the eyepiece, snap a picture of it, and include that in their report. You know, and I don't think that there's anything wrong with the way that Mr. Haley is handling this. Something where the phones are put away and at the teacher's discretion, they can say, okay, you need to grab your phone right now, we're going to do it for this one particular thing, and then when we're done, they get put away again.
So we could maybe add a thing that leaves it up to the teacher's discretion.
Well, it's kind of what
Kind of
it,
where we're at now.
That's where we're
but
at.
That's where we're
it's
at.
not fully
And you're giving
enforced.
coaches or bus drivers or whoever the right to let kids have their phone, which as a coach, I think you should, because everybody likes different music before a game. But if you're gonna, if we're gonna allow it still on school property, in a school bus, whatever, the teacher needs it. I mean, that's,
I think as classroom teachers, we need to have the policy that gives us the authority to say, no, put it away. We're not gonna deal with this right now. And, you know, not have the huffy calling the parents and getting all of them involved because we're taking their phones away during class. But at the same time, I think we also need to have the liberty to be able to utilize this technology in a way that is useful for education.
Was the state was gonna say something, like, wasn't Ricky or?
The governor came out and said we're banning, we
So-
bans.
We even have an option in this deal here.
We have to have a cell phone ban of some sort.
can you just say cell phones are banned unless teacher discretion? I mean, long policy, correct, but something of the sort, so.
Yeah, so I think this is gonna be,
Are we just talking about this for, and you're just gonna say you're gonna ban them?
yeah, I mean, I'm kind of the opposite of Mr. Henderson on this one. I would rather them just not be around at all. But I see his point.
I mean, they're always hiding their phones behind their laptops. I can walk by most hallways, teachers at the front, kid has their laptop, they're all doing this.
So if you ban
You
them,
know,
are you
in a
saying
lot of
you can't even
classrooms.
bring them into the building?
They'd just be powered off and in the locker.
But how hard, I mean, there's still gonna be kids walking around with phones.
They have their, but it's also talking about smartwatches and stuff too.
Yeah.
in
It
there.
goes deep.
But if their phone is off, they're not gonna get notifications on their watch either. Or
Is
they
that
shouldn't.
smartwatch report probably anywhere in the school?
but not if their phone's
phone is
off.
in their locker.
If their phone is on, they'll still get texts and phone calls on their watch.
Well, I mean, and if we're providing one-to-one with the computers, maybe
Well, that's,
we need to get those kids trained to keep them,
I hate that they're not.
keep them plugged in and keep them charged.
We spend a lot of money on it
Yeah.
for them to do their work
I
in
agree.
school or take home. And if they don't have it, that's part of growing up. That's a bad grade. I mean, I don't want to be so mean that, you know, you fail a kid, but we have invested a lot of money. A lot of money. 57,000 this month?
Well, just I lost
Just
my
the
charger, I
technology.
don't have, like, you can buy a charger, I don't hand them out, so that's just a consequence, you know? Keep it charged, you guys.
But I definitely see where it's handy. That just made me mad when I heard that. Well, that's,
Right, it
Because you go to
begs,
college,
it
you
begs
don't
the
have a computer,
question
guess what?
as
You're
to,
done.
as to why we do the one-to-one if all they're gonna use is their phones.
On the KSB, or KSB memo, what they're saying is that one of the options is required, but the main thing is that you get stakeholder input, which is
Yeah,
what we
and we
did.
did.
That was.
it was good input too.
Where did where was that at? I read it
It
somewhere.
was at the very end of the packet that we got.
Right, here's my, those would be parent responses. I'm guessing maybe a teacher response or two in there.
There's a
Yeah.
lot.
You could kind of see that, you could tell the responses between, I appreciate it.
I mean, there's some ways that we could work it. I just, from my job, a lot of times happens to deal with them when it's wrong. So when it's wrong, it's never in. Like I worked with a girl one day, and you could just tell she was so glued to her device because she was getting so much feedback from the people that she wanted to talk crap to. And it was just like all day long. And if she doesn't have access to it, at least she can breathe and
Then you
concentrate
can
on.
focus on work,
Well,
on
you
your
could,
school.
and we could ask each individual teacher to maybe have their own classroom policy as far as, okay, well,
That's
on
what we have now.
Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, you can bring your phones in, or we're gonna do this.
Yeah, I think that we could probably work something like in Mr. Henderson's class, they're going to be doing this project that involves taking photos. And it is super easy to take a photo and shoot it to the teacher. That's super easy. That's how it should work. And I think that like we could probably open that up for something like that.
This might change as the school year goes.
Yeah.
To see what's coming.
It's definitely,
There was a school in the UK that, it was voluntary, but kids had to turn their phones in for, I think it was like 90 or 120 days. And they had to go without them at home, every place. And at first, those kids were, I mean, they were suffering from, withdrawal. And by the end, there was only like 10 or 20 kids that wanted their phones back. The other ones were
Ella always
so
says, I wish I grew
free.
up when you did, just
Yeah.
with all the social media, all the
other
cell
ones
phones.
just loved it, loved not having it.
I know we love revisiting policy. Is this something we come back to, or is this
Yeah.
July 1st? Has to be?
this is actually, it has to be by the end of the year, but we have it marked down as a first read next, which we're kind of, I wanted it to be very, very visible that we're talking about some stuff. So yes, we can definitely do that. So the next policy is emergency exclusion.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson.
Essentially what emergency exclusion has turned into has been like getting rid of the second grade kid that you can't suspend anymore. So if the parents want to request a hearing, they have 1 day to do it instead of 2. Emergency exclusions would also at the high school level be like, this kid's gotta go, he's being violent, and you could escalate. So emergency exclusions, they just changed 1 day to request a hearing, which is a very fast turnaround.
That kind of surprised me, that it was just 1 day, and then I thought, well, if it's an emergency, safety's involved, then it needs to be taken care of.
Yeah.
Is that
But
the reason behind it?
yeah, the parents would like the hearing, and how long will the exclusion take? Or it can only take up until 10 days, so maybe organizing a hearing in that amount of time is pretty small, so you want feedback right away. under concussion awareness, they just got rid of the individual titles. Some of those titles are not relevant anymore. I guess the state of Nebraska will tell you which ones that are currently up to date. Right now, it is a Colorado Department of Education thing that's the most up to date. So that list just changes. So yeah.
What are classes approved by the chief medical officer?
So basically that's like what the State Department of Education has as currently what is.
So what we
good
already
concussion.
require for NFHS?
Yeah, if you already took it already, you're good.
No, I gotta take it again.
Yeah.
It's every 2 years.
Yeah, that one will work. So
Yeah, concussion.
We gotta take like 4 or 5 this year.
let me see here. So I actually just was on this today. Oh, by the way, I got banana ball lottery.
Bring them out to Dalton.
Holy cow. Don't worry about it, it's
It's
amazing.
bananas.
It's amazing.
Elizabeth, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, so the Colorado, if you go to the Nebraska Department of Education's concussion awareness, so they've listed this as a prescribed how to know about concussions. So if you're trained on concussions already, you won't have to worry. They just didn't want to limit it to just these things. And if these things go away, you know, they just need to say like whatever the chief medical officer says is good quality concussion training. So now I gotta watch brain injury and stuff. 60-44, participation and assignment of athletic teams. This goes back to the Fight for the Girls thing or whatever. I don't need to minimize it. It's, you know, it's like prevention of boys entering girls' sports. And it's males should not participate on teams designated for females. Females may only participate on male teams when there's no female team offered. We do that, that's golf here. Males and females may participate in co-ed teams. To determine eligibility, the student and the student's parent or guardian shall provide the district with confirmation of the student's sex on a document signed by a doctor. Doesn't say medical doctor, which is
Doctor.
this is from the state, so
What doctor is it?
yeah,
That's a doctor?
yeah.
It is. Dr.
This is, so we said before, I think it was 60-44, that it was birth certificate sex.
Can we change that in our own policy?
Our own policy has,
This is a new policy.
Yeah.
but what did we say was?
This will take effect if that becomes law.
It
And it
did.
was signed into law.
Oh, did it?
June
Okay.
4th.
So
So-
this is the way it is.
This is the way it is. So
Yeah.
we are going to designate all of them, football, male, volleyball, female. So we'll go down our list. Just, it's gonna be that. And
But if a female wants to go to football, she can, because there's not a girls' football team.
yeah, she could. She
But
could.
not the other way around. Like,
But boys
can't go out for volleyball.
No.
But what if there's some boys volleyball?
Some
changes
states have
all that.
sanctioned volleyball.
Oh, you know what? I didn't even think about it, because there was a girl from Morrill playing on their team. I don't think she could play that anymore.
Football?
Yeah.
We've played several girls in the past few
Yeah.
years. Like that.
So,
Yeah, but not-
but it says if you designate it as male, their school would have to designate male and female.
But it says females may only participate on male teams when there is no female team.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So.
Girls can play boys,
football.
boys can't play girls.
Exactly.
That's how you want it though, right?
It's, yes,
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's not very title nice.
It'll always be gender.
So really, the only thing we'll be doing differently on this is adding golf, is that what you want?
Yeah.
Okay. And are we doing anything with cheerleading,
Cheerleading will be co-ed.
co-ed, but we'll add those two to the,
Yeah.
okay.
I'm so sorry, guys.
Oh, you're good.
Behavioral intervention,
Remember when
this
we
one,
used to have snacks on the table?
this one, they say the amount of hours is up to you. We're gonna say a half an hour of behavior training. So we'll just say like the smallest amount possible, but at the same time, like it complies with what the state wants.
Okay.
So that is that. So the policies, how I'd like this to be worded is, we're going to pull the cell phone policy.
60-25 and 30-57, Title IX.
Yeah, so we'll pull both of those policies, that's it.
So we just approve the rest without those two.
Yeah. And then we'll just do a second reading next month.
Okay, so
Do we have a motion, Chad?
yeah, I'll make a motion that Janelle has to remind me the numbers. But,
Want to read through?
we will
Just as the
approve,
attorney presented.
we will approve the policies as presented by the attorneys minus policy 60-25 and 30-57.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Ernest?
Yes.
Mrs. Ernest?
Yes.
Mr. Shoemaker?
Yes.
Mr. Wiedemann?
Yes.
Mr. Benish?
Yes.
Guys, I'm so
Hey,
sorry.
Matt,
all right.
that motion didn't read right. You put 50-37, not 30-57.
Good catch.
Yeah, all of this,
I don't know where you typed your motion. But you
The numbers were backwards.
just put that whole one on there and go. I don't know what 50-37 is, but just go ahead.
Well, we.
it's fine, I'll edit it tomorrow.
Sorry, I just,
No, thank you, and that, it'll come up and it'll get brought back, right?
I think it said 50-37, not 30-57.
So,
Okay, let's go ahead and talk through this one, then we can get done.
okay.
The cell phone policy first read, I just want you guys to be aware of the community feedback. We resent out a Facebook post today that said, give us more if you got it. Mr. Henderson, that's great feedback to have. I think that can help us guide that policy and where we want it to be. That's all I wanted to say on that one, so no action needed.
Okay, awesome. Informational items, next regular meeting is the next board meeting, July 14th, 2025. We are staying at 6 p.m. unless somebody,
Well, I'm not opposed to anything, but
We can get done by 4.
then let's have it at 6 and we'll just get an hour off, an hour for a meeting.
this is the longest meeting we've had in your tenure here, I
Long
think.
time.
The next day is an international holiday, so you get a day off.
Yeah, you're not gonna cut me on international holiday.
Which is It's an international holiday, everybody's day off.
Yeah.
6 o'clock.
Okay, so July 14th at 6 p.m.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,